Hi, welcome back guys. This is your sensei, back with another fanfiction. This is the first part of What If Naruto Became Kakashi's Mini-Me? Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. Naruto was bored and mentally drained. He had the nine-tailed fox in him. The Kyuubi, the creature that destroyed his village, most likely killed his family if they didn't abandon him because they thought him a demon, and brought suffering on thousands. His two teammates, Sasuke and Sakura, ignored him like always as their sensei was 3 hours late. I bet they hate me too, Naruto thought in sadness. The Hokage assured him that kids his age weren't aware of his burden, but they still hated him, not that his pranks helped. Our teacher is late, maybe a prank? He began mischievously but quickly squashed the thought. No reason to make him hate me more. I bet he'll be just like everyone else. Maybe if I'm quiet he'll at least just ignore me. I can't take those eyes. What the blonde Jinchuuriki didn't know was that simple twist in thoughts would alter the course of his shinobi career forever. Kakashi Hatake slowly approached the door to the classroom holding the boy he abandoned as a baby. Sure, he was just a kid at the time, but not a day goes by that Kakashi doesn't think, what if I took care of him? Would last night have happened, or would he even be a genin now, instead of a chunin or jonin? Would he still secretly fear the villagers? The Hokage had filled Kakashi in on Naruto's mental state, and how the elders were worried that if something didn't change the Jinchuuriki would finally snap. They reasoned assigning him to a jonin that didn't hate him would help. But putting him with him, Kakashi? It must be some sort of punishment. Kakashi could never hate Naruto. But he also couldn't bear to look at the blonde as it reminded him too much of Minato-sensei, and teaching him would be just too much, especially as Kakashi was likely to get him killed. Plus, Naruto was likely to pull pranks, act out, and overall prove that he wasn't ready to be a shinobi. Kakashi would just fail him, and let someone else take care of sensei's legacy, as everyone knew Kakashi was not the right person. Opening the door lazily, he expected many things. Indignant screeches from the blonde. Traps and pranks too. Even a scowl. But what Kakashi didn't expect was the broken look in Naruto's deep blue eyes, ones that didn't belong on the son of Konoha's greatest heroes. Those eyes spoke to Kakashi, their tensed and readiness to bolt, the slight hope that Kakashi was different, and the mistrust that he would be just like everyone else. The jonin was caught in those orbs, breath hitched. Then he took in the rest of the room. Naruto was crouched in his chair alone on one side, while Sasuke and Sakura were on the other, pointedly ignoring their teammate who was so obviously in need. But they didn't care. You three are interesting. Meet me on the roof. Kakashi managed and used a shunshin to leave. Sasuke and Sakura got up and left, not noticing they left behind a certain blonde. Naruto scowled as he took off after his teammates followed their teacher. Sensing things would remain the same as always, probably his sensei would ignore him for the others, he plopped down to the far right of his squad mates. My name is Kakashi Hatake, your sensei. Let's start with introductions. Sensei? What should we say? Sakura asked. Oh, you know, likes, dislikes, hobbies, dreams. That sort of thing. Kakashi was hardly looking at the pink girl who would possibly be his student. Instead, his gray eye kept turning towards Naruto, who still sulked a bit, not even trying to hide it. Why don't you go first? To show us how it's done. Sakura suggested. Seriously? Alright. My name, as you know, is Kakashi. I have likes, some dislikes. I never really thought about a dream. As for hobbies? Well, I have lots of hobbies. He gave his trademark eye smile and then watched in amusement as all three students had various degrees of annoyance. Messing with genin was fun. You next, Pinky. Naruto tuned out his teammates after Kakashi-sensei's useless intro. When Sakura said, "And I hate Naruto baka," he flinched, but didn't say anything, turning away slightly. And you? What about you, Blondie? Kakashi asked. Naruto blinked, honestly surprised he asked after the impression of dislike he gave. Oh, well, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. I like ramen, it's filling and cheap, the old man, the Ikaras and Irika-sensei, because they acknowledges me. And my hobbies are gardening and trying new flavors of ramen. and training, but no one will believe that. I hate cold eyes and the 3 minutes it takes for ramen to make. My dream is to be Hokage, so that everyone will have to acknowledge me and accept me for who I am. Naruto added the last part with a grin, imagining what life will be like then. Kakashi kept a level gaze on Naruto, ignoring Sakura's slight snorts. Well then, tomorrow we'll see if you three are actually genin. Next evening, as his sensei and teammates walked away while he was still tied to the post, Naruto couldn't keep the frown off his face. They left me. He realized in disbelief. His sensei, Naruto, thought he'd be different. After all that talk about never abandoning comrades, and they abandoned him. Hypocrites. Tears start welling up. He had used his last kunai on Kakashi-sensei earlier and he wasn't able to use the rope escape jutsu. Mizuki taught that lesson and had sent him on an errand for 2 years in a row during that day in class. But Kakashi frowned as his 2 students continued walking with him, even when he mentioned Naruto still being tied up. That baka will figure something out, Sakura insisted and headed home. As Kakashi turned to head back to the training grounds, 2 green blobs glomped him. Wisest, my eternal rival. Guy greeted. Hello, Guy, Kakashi said weakly. Who is this? He looked in horror at the smaller version of his friend. Wisest, this is my most youthful apprentice, Lee. He has become like me in every way, almost like a mini-me. Mini-me? Yes. Others treated him like nothing as he was the dead last year, but under my tutelage he's grown to become one of the best genin in our most youthful village. Guy boasted. Oh, well, I just passed my own team, Kakashi said, not realizing he wanted to boast about his team, even if it was pointless with how dysfunctional they were. Yash, your flames of youth shine brightly. Perhaps one will take after you as well. Come, Lee, let us run around Konoha 500 times to slide our youth. Yes, Guy-sensei. Lee. Guy-sensei. Lee. Guy-sensei. Kakashi left as they started running towards each other, not wanting to see whatever it is they were starting. Someone to take after me? Well, if Guy can do it, so can I. But who, Sasuke? He scowled, remembering that though a genius, the boy abandoned his comrade. And Naruto's eyes, Naruto. In haste, Kakashi went towards his final student, intent on rescuing him. Back with Naruto minutes later. Naruto. Kakashi's voice from behind him made Naruto whip around. Kakashi-sensei? Naruto couldn't believe it, his sensei didn't abandon him. I'm sorry for leaving you. Want some help? The blonde nodded, and seconds later the ropes were cut. Getting the circulation back in his hands, Naruto wipes away his tears. Why didn't you use the rope escape jutsu? Kakashi asked, knowing full well why not. Investigations had already led the Hokage to deduce that several key lessons were sabotaged or outright not taught to Naruto. Mizuki-sensei never taught me that. Naruto admitted. Well, why don't I show you how then, Kakashi offered with his famous eye smile. Really? Yada! Naruto screamed happily and Kakashi winced. He'd have to work on his sensei's legacy's volume and attire. If Guy could take that Lee kid and get him into the monstrosity, then Kakashi could certainly change Naruto's tastes. Wait, Naruto was malleable. He was technically supposed to be Kakashi's little brother figure. And to be honest, Kakashi had always wanted to pass on his coolness, as Guy called it, to the next generation. With a hidden grin, Kakashi patted Naruto on the head. Why don't we go do some shopping first? When Naruto gave him a puzzled look, Kakashi took it as a yes. Later, Hokage Tower. Team 7 passes, Kakashi announced proudly. The other Jonin and Sarutobi were shocked at the man's words and several tried to dispel a genjutsu. Very well, Kakashi. That makes 3 teams that passed. Train them well, Sarutobi ordered. Soon most of the office was empty save the Hokage, Anbu, and Kakashi. Is something the matter, Kakashi? No, I'd just like you to sign this sheet making one Naruto Uzumaki my apprentice until he reaches Jonin, much like how Minato-sensei did with me. Very well, though I honestly thought you were planning to do this with Sasuke for his Sharingan. What changed your mind? Kakashi took a deep breath. Let's just say I think I'm ready to face my past And if Guy can make one, so can I. The Cyclops chuckled evilly at the last part and used a shunshin. Tiger, one of the ANBU on duty, appeared with Sarutobi's signal. Yes, Hokage-sama? Tenzo, I'm going to assign you to keep a watch on your old captain for a while. Just to make sure he hasn't finally snapped. Tenzo gave a grave nod as he too was a bit worried at Kakashi's last comment and headed out to observe the enigma of a jonin. Edikarakas? Thanks for the meal. Naruto cheered as Kakashi let him have an all-you-can-eat after a successful trip to the ninja store. His apprentice-to-be, it wouldn't be official until Naruto made Chunin, dug in, and Kakashi couldn't help but smile from behind his book. Nari, Kakashi-sensei, what are we learning tomorrow? Did you say something? He asked in a bored tone. He had to keep appearances up after all. Next day, Naruto tugged on his new attire a little embarrassed. Kakashi had picked him out proper shinobi clothes, claiming his were just asking for a painful death. The man told him to just wear it the next day to training, that Naruto would see how great the new clothes were. Dressed in a short-sleeve version of his sensei's outfit, minus the tilted headband, mask, and jonin vest dash, Naruto did have to admit it was nice. People in the village hardly noticed him, meaning less glares and whispers. Now as he waited for his teammates to show, the blonde felt a sort of light-heartedness while looking at his shirt, knowing somebody seemed to care for his well-being. Peach, Naruto, a stage whisper alerted him to the tree hanging over the bridge they were meeting at soon, though neither of the two younger teammates showed. Glancing up, he spotted Kakashi crouching in a branch, waving at him. Kakashi-sensei? What are you doing in the tree? Naruto pet his head curiously. The silver-haired man smiled. Stopping you from making a grave mistake. Come along now, we have important business to take care of. Kakashi beckoned him, and took off using the trees, leaving a rather confused Naruto to follow at a slower pace branch from branch. Minutes later, Naruto lands beside his new sensei next to the memorial stone they had seen the day before. Both stood reverently for a while, Kakashi silently talking to his teammates and Naruto attempting to not fidget. So, what are we doing here, Kakashi-sensei? Naruto finally asked, breaking the suffocating silence. First rule of being my apprentice, student, is? Kakashi prompted. The clothes? Exactly. But the next rule is, never be on time for non-emergencies. By never showing up on time, you keep your comrades on their toes. 3 hours is usually enough. The older shinobi smiled again. But, if you always show up late, won't they just get used to it and it won't be a surprise anymore? Naruto pointed out the obvious only to receive a head pat. My cute little student, that's why you mix up how long you're late. Well, that and come up with creative and excellent excuses. He added the last part as an afterthought. Today the excuse is being lost on the road of life. But what do you do while you're lost on the road of life? Sit here? Kakashi snorted. No, contrary to popular belief, I don't spend the entire time at the stone. No, I am going to use this time to privately tutor you. What? I already left school. Naruto whined a bit. Kakashi gave him a deadpanned look. Naruto, how do we use ninjutsu? Katra, Kakashi face-palmed. It's chakra, Naruto. Chakra, please remember it. This is what I'm talking about. I can't have you so behind. Who told you it was called Katra? Kakashi resisted a wince when the indignant look on Naruto's face turned bitter. Mizuki-sensei. He said its proper name was Katra and that only academy students called it chakra. Well, what about Irika or the Hokage? Surely they told you. They don't have time for me. Gigi visited once a month when I was little, but about 2 years ago an ANBU would bring my allowance, so I saw him only a couple times a year. He'd come say hi on my birthday or take me out to ramen. And Irika-sensei always yelled at me about school, and Mizuki-sensei said he wouldn't teach me any more advanced stuff if I told Irika-sensei about it. Advanced stuff? Kakashi echoed stupidly. Yeah, like taijutsu moves, more advanced history, tricks for math. He was mean in class, but when I asked for help after class he'd always show me things. Naruto, your taijutsu was atrocious during the test yesterday, and your scores were dismal. Naruto flinched. Yeah, I figured. I guess since Mizuki hated me, he got a kick out of showing the village pariah crappy, advanced material. Naruto looked downtrodden and Kakashi promised to make a very painful visit to Mizuki soon. For now, he had a crummy education to fix. Well, my cute little student, first lesson, chakra. 2 hours later. Are you sure about this, sensei? Ma, of course. The greatness of Ika Ika must be exalted. Naruto tried to push the orange book back into his sensei's hands, but the man persisted. Now, read the first chapter before we get found on the road to life. Resigned, the genin peeked the book open and gasped at the first line. Miss Mtsunaide, beloved snow princess of the desert, was in love with Ruraya, her dashing knight. But their love was not to be. Bridge, minutes later. You're late. Both of you. Sakura screeched after Kakashi's lame excuse and pointed accusingly at the pair, both engrossed in their books. A slight spot of blood on Naruto's nose. Poor Ruraya, what a champ. You and your noble steed Jamabunta deserve happiness too, Naruto sniffed, already on the second chapter. Sakura gaped a bit. Naruto, your clothes. And your reading. The kunoichi couldn't believe her eyes. Her idiot teammate was dressed normally. And he had a book out willingly. Even if it was that weird orange one her mom always warned her about. Naruto looked up at her and grinned widely. Sakura-chan, check this book out, it's a great romance novel. Sakura's interest was piqued. She was always an avid fan of romance novels, often imagining herself and Sasuke as the main characters. Really? She asked. It's amazing. Naruto tried to hand her his book, but Kakashi put his hand on the blonde's shoulder. Now hold on, there's no need. I made sure to buy enough for everyone. Handing Sakura a copy, Kakashi watched on in fascination as the girl began reading. Before long she had a slight nosebleed. Sitting on the ground she became engrossed. Sasuke was slightly disturbed as he watched his so-called team read smut together. A shiver would run up his spine whenever Sakura would giggle or Naruto would wipe a smear of blood off his face. Gazing at the clouds, the Avenger receded into his own thoughts. Oh Sasuke, the sing-song voice of Kakashi broke the internal debate he was having soon after. I have a copy for you, why not bond with your team? I don't have time to read smut, I'm going off to train. Turning away, Sasuke made for a private spot to work on his aim. Sakura noticed him leave and was instantly up, running faster than she ever did in the academy. Sasuke-kun, wait up, I'll go train with you. She called after her crush, taking Ika Ika with her. Once the pair left Kakashi's side, his plan for a light team bonding moment failed. Well then, how about we go try to make you passable at shuriken throwing? 2 out of 10 would kill you quicker than walking into IW. The jonin mused and then chuckled at his own joke. Sensei, I don't get it. Naruto tilted his head. Kakashi backtracked fast. Oh, did you say something? When the predictable huff of annoyance and complaint came, Kakashi knew he'd dodged a kunai. Can't have him guessing his heritage. That would be bad, especially if he's still feeling jolted from the QB. Mission office, next morning. Team 7 requesting their first assignment, Hokage-sama. Kakashi drawled. The Hokage didn't know whether to chuckle or remove Kakashi from his post. For while Naruto now wore something other than orange, him and Sakura Haruno were over halfway through with the first Ika Ika novel. Now, while shinobi could certainly buy the books no matter their age, to read them in the office of their leader during their first mission briefing. Even Sasuke, the famed village brooder, was showing signs of being uncomfortable. The poor boy was alternating from glaring into space and glancing at his team uncomfortably. Well, if they wanted to ignore their Hokage, then as the Hokage it was his duty to give them a payback mission. Glancing at his desk he shuffled through the pile, when Tenzo discreetly pointed towards a particularly nasty one. Smirking evilly he smiled benignly at the team in front of him. Team 7, he began, I've decided to assign you a C-rank mission instead of the customary D ranks. Kakashi gazed suspiciously but the genin were jumping for joy. Yada! A C rank, a C rank. Only to receive a slight bonk on the head. Kakashi leaned down and said something that sounded suspiciously like, hip and cool shinobi don't say yada, but ma and the. Your mission, whether you accept it or not. He paused dramatically while the ANBU's chakra signatures buzzed in excitement. Is to clean the entirety of the ANBU locker rooms and bathrooms. 3 face faults and a one-eyed death glare answered the Hokage. I'll remember this, Hokage, Kakashi muttered after his genin had left. I'm sure you will, Kakashi. The Hokage chuckled then winced for his ears. Hey, Sakura-chan, after this, want to go get something to eat? A loud voice questioned from the hallway. A deafening crash into the ground ensued moments later. No, like hell I'd go on a date with you. Sakura-chan, you're scary at times. Kakashi barely made out his future apprentice's reply. When he walks out and sees the poor boy on the ground and the other 2 almost turning the corner, he resists a groan. Instead, Hiei smiles and helps the blonde up. Naruto, sometimes, the female just isn't interested. After she's turned you down more than a couple of times, perhaps it's time to move on. But I can't just forget her. Naruto huffed. Her hair is so pretty. Kakashi resisted the urge to groan. Of course, his student would have a taste for the exotic colors. Just like his father. Tell you what, stop asking Sakura out on a date for 6 months, work hard on your studies, and take someone else on a date and I'll take you on a little field trip next week. A field trip? Where? Was the excited response from the blonde. Calm down. Now, it's a surprise, and I'll only take you if you give me your word to stop asking Sakura out, try to find someone else, and work hard this week. Naruto's head bobbed up and down. Got it, now where? Oh, just to see Konoha's resident alien, get his but hand it to him by yours truly, and his little minion, who will fall to your coolness too. Ah. Never mind, put this on. A blue mass of fabric was pressed into Naruto's face and he felt a slight foreboding when his sensei's eye smile got larger when he managed to get the cloth on, revealing it to be an identical face mask. Like this? He asked, feeling a bit stifled from the fabric. Perfect. Phase 2 complete. Kakashi said while jotting something down on a notepad that appeared. He was having more fun with this whole conversion process than he thought he would. Now, let's go find your wayward teammates before they get lost. ANBU headquarters isn't where they teach it to be, obviously, for security reasons. Naruto rolled his eyes as they left the tower. I know that I pranked them last year. BSS could never prove it either, hee. Naruto looked smug, not noticing the sudden spike in killing intent from various shadows. I knew it was the Orange Menace, was the collective thought. Within the hour the entire corps would be plotting their revenge. NBU headquarters, security room. Dozens of ANBU, on and off duty, crowd around the screens covering the bathrooms their old senpai and the Orange Menace were cleaning. A flamingo-masked NBU had a smug air to himself as the Orange Menace was forced to be the corps' janitor. This will teach him to booby trap the showers. Flamingo muttered darkly. A wolf-masked NBU turned towards him, slinging his arm over Flamingo's neck, giving him a noogie. Oh come on cousin. The little chibi is a genius. I gotta say though, my favorite exploit of his was when he dyed Hayashi-sama's toothpaste pink and it ended up tinting his lips too. Priceless, I tell ya. Wolf wiped his mask where an eye hole would be to signify laughing. Flamingo sighed deeply. Hikaru, I truly wonder how we are from the same clan. Flamingo said, shaking his head forlornly. Other ANBU sniggered. Look, the Uchiha brat is gonna die. One ANBU proclaimed, calling the attention to what could become the final moments of one Sasuke Uchiha. Moments before with Naruto and Team 7. Naruto had to admit, the mask Kakashi-sensei made him wear really worked. He could barely smell the bathroom, even with his advanced senses. Man, I bet these ANBU guys are complete losers at aim. They can't even hit the toilet. Naruto said cheekily while wiping up the sides of the toilets. Kakashi couldn't help but snort. Clone Naruto, don't you think you're a bit hypocritical? I've seen your apartment and bathroom. The Jonin said lazily while turning a page in his riveting novel. Another clone walked by with cleaning solution for the mirrors, this time hinged into Sakura. You went to my apartment bathroom? Cha. The clone dropped the supplies and aimed a sucker punch at the silver-haired Jonin, who easily dodged with an eye smile. Clone Sakruto, no need to be so violent. Good work on mimicking your teammate though, he complimented. Kakashi-sensei, please stop riling up the fake me that Naruto made. The real Sakura scolded flippantly from a perch on top of the clean sinks. She was tearing her way through the second Ika volume with gusto. The real Naruto sat cross-legged on another sink, still absorbed in the first volume. Kakashi couldn't be prouder that the two converts to Ika were taking the process of enjoyment in the series seriously. Nearby Sasuke grunted while scrubbing the baseboards and showers clean of mold. Kakashi turned his lazy eye to his most stubborn student. Sasuke, if you wish to come enjoy God's gift to man with us, I'm sure Naruto would make you a clone. Sasuke stiffened. He refused to be essy into that vulgar habit, even if he had to scrub every bathroom with his bare Uchiha hands. Like I would read that sorry excuse for a story. The Uchiha defended. Kakashi gave a long-suffering sigh. Naruto, however, remembered that his sensei believed in team bonding. So, without looking up from his book, the Uzumaki went over to his brooding teammate. When he reached the older boy, he brought out an extra copy of Ika that Kakashi-sensei had given him for converting others. Sticking it out gruffly to his rival, Naruto offered an olive branch. Read with us. At least try it. What happened next would mark Sasuke Uchiha as the dumbest human to grace the planet in the ANBU's eyes. Sasuke was momentarily startled by the gesture and lack of insulting nickname but quickly saw red. Snatching the orange book from the masked blonde, the Uchiha smirked while holding it up near a toilet. Trash. Sasuke spoke before ripping the book in half and dunking it into the toilet. Before promptly peeing his pants as massive killing intent was suddenly aimed at his location, all emanating from his supposed sensei. Sasuke, Kakashi spoke with a sickly sweet accent. That wasn't very nice or honorable of you, was it? What do you have to say for yourself? Sasuke gulped as the form of Kakashi Hatake loomed over him. The boy grunted defiantly despite his instincts screaming at him to apologize. Wrong answer, was Kakashi's curt reply as his knuckles cracked louder than a clap of thunder. Naruto and Sakura glanced at Sasuke in a mixture of pity, concern, and anger. Naruto himself couldn't believe his old classmate was that stupid, while Sakura found she couldn't defend him. She herself was rooted firmly in place by the dark aura from their sensei, and her voice died in her throat. Sorry, Sasuke-kun, you're on your own. But you're an Uchiha, you'll be totally fine, right? Next day, training ground 7 for AM. Faster, Sasuke-chan. If you can't recite these passages by memory by the time the sun rises, I'll be forced to ask Naruto for some clones so you can role-play the parts. Teaching manuals do always stress the importance of learning by doing, after all. A perky Kakashi perched upside down on a branch above the black-haired Genin's head, who was currently wishing Itachi had murdered him all those years ago. Taking a deep breath, he tried reading the script once again. Jiraiya stood atop his noble steed Toad, Jamabunta, sword in hand. Mtsunaide sighed happily as her noble knight whispered promises of tea-taking her flower and cupping her beautiful sea cups of pleasure. As she promised her knight to tea-take his master sword in her hole of, I can't do it. Sasuke Uchiha Imo, incarnate, wailed to the sky. Kakashi hummed above him. Well, I could let you stop reading it out loud in attempts to memorize it. Sasuke whipped his bloodshot, sleep-deprived eyes to meet his SDST of a sensei. What is it? I'll do anything. Anything? Excellent. Giggling darkly at his student, Kakashi realized that having Genin were worth it, if only for moments like these. Meanwhile, Tenzo took copious notes from a safe distance away. Senpai, what caused you to go off the deep end? Team 7's meeting spot, 3 hours after designated meeting time. Naruto landed a tad awkwardly as he was in the final chapter of Volume 1 finally. Kakashi-sensei had spent the last 3 hours drilling taijutsu stances while a single clone read the history book he was supposed to have read his second year. Now though, with a mask to cover the nosebleed, Naruto was enjoying Jiraiya's heroic rescue of the princess. Barely glancing up, he intended to give a passing hello when his eyes caught it. Sasuke, his horrible teammate, reading Ika willingly. Ma, sorry we're late, but you see, Naruto was kidnapped by a flamboyant Hyuga who wanted to pull a prank with him and I had to track them down. Kakashi's lazy drawl stopped any questions. Sakura's eye twitched. You're right. All Hyugas are the picture of stuffiness. It's not nice to stereotype or imply that I would ever lie to my cute little genin. The pink-haired genin held up a fist threateningly and the Cyclops' sweat dropped at how violent she really was. Accusations aside, to the tower. Hokage Tower, minutes later. Hiruzen's eyebrow twitched violently. Now there wasn't just his best jonin, grandson-like figure, and top kunoichi blatantly ignoring him for smut, but the last loyal Uchiha as well. Granted, the Uchiha managed an I don't give a demon look without the orange-covered book, but somehow a novel in his face just pushed Hiruzen's buttons the wrong way. It's spreading like a virus. Hiruzen Sarutobi thought. The aged leader loved his students' work but wouldn't stoop so low as to read it in public. No sane person would. Apparently no one on Team 7 was sane. Team 7, he sighed in resignation. You are to babysit Councilman Hamura's grandchildren. Please don't read that in front of them. Dismissed, Sarutobi finished with a flippant wave. He had more important things to worry about than petty things such as sanity in his ranks, like paperwork. I did not just think that, did I? The Hokage realized in horror. 1 week later, after training, Naruto walked alongside his sensei towards a secluded training ground, curious about this alien he kept hearing about. His muscles burned from running up a tree all day. Team 7 had begun basic formation drills and a chakra control exercise after Sasuke finally began on his journey of Ika. Naruto still had extra instruction though, but his sensei had informed him that now that team bonding could happen, instruction could commence. Wisest, my eternal rival. The most horrifying noise ever to assault Naruto's ears shouted. Then he saw the green, the eyebrows. It was the alien. With a fearful glance, the blonde was horrified that his sensei just remained calm through it all. He is truly a master, the genin thought reverently. Meanwhile, Kakashi preened at his apprentice's starry-eyed look. Oh yes, I'm awesome. Moments later, with Naruto couldn't help but attempt to step back as his supposed opponent twirled towards him in gusto. However, a gloved hand firmly pushed him back with a muttered, "Show no fear." Gulping, Naruto held out a hand. Hello. He tried, only to be pulled into a hug. Hello, my most youthful rival. I am Rock Lee, the beautiful green beast of Konoha. Lee shouted in greeting and spun around, carrying a nauseous Naruto along for the ride. Naruto repressed the urge to vomit as he felt lights flashing and a camera clicking. When the world stopped spinning, he glared at his sensei, who was happily taking photos and ignoring the green monstrosity. Sensei, he began with an evil smile as an idea struck, don't you think that taking pictures is very youthful? Kakashi turned white and pocketed the camera away with a narrowed eye. How clever, Naruto-chan. I hope you kept more than my wit, as Lee is a taijutsu specialist. Not to mention he has over a year in the field, nay? Kakashi retorted to the, in his opinion, at least little devil child. My rival. As it is our first battle, I will let you pick the challenge. Our youth will burn through our opposition to each other. Lee said with gusto. Naruto's sweat dropped before remembering the wise teachings of his sensei. Flashback walkover. Naruto raised an eyebrow at his sensei's words. You and Guy sensei don't actually fight? He asked, head tilted in confusion. Of course we do. Well, we do in the sense that it is two shinobi trying to complete opposing tasks, or do a task quicker than the other. It's more that Guy really doesn't care whether if I challenge him to rock paper scissors or a no-hold spar. Kakashi replied airily, a lazy eye smile present. So, don't fight this Lee guy in ninja stuff? Naruto asked with squinted eyes. Exactly, my cute little apprentice. I couldn't be prouder. As Naruto continued the walk, with lazy purpose of course, he couldn't help but be confused. What's all this talk about apprentices? Back to the present. Naruto resisted the urge to cover his ears as a loud belting laugh drew him from his thoughts. Kakashi, my rival. What a most youthful choice for a battle between men. A rock-paper-scissors battle of the ages. Youth against hip. Mano vs. Mano. Guy gave another thumbs up. Kakashi sighed, much to Naruto's awe. Even his sighs are cool. The masked blonde thought. He was more vocal in his admiration. Guy-sensei, your youth has no limits. Guy-sensei. Guy whipped around, tears in his eyes. Lee, your youth burns bright and strong. Oh Lee. Guy-sensei. Lee said with tears streaming down his face. Lee. Might Guy embraced Lee in bone-crushing hug. Guy-sensei. Lee embraced back. Oh Lee. A sunset appeared behind the youthful pair, its beautifulness marred by the sight of green aliens sharing an NTMT moment between sensei and student. Guy-sensei. Through all of this, Naruto's mask of learned indifference was broken. Collapsing onto the training grounds, the Jinchuuriki of the Nine Tails felt his soul depart, only to have it shoved cruelly back by a jab in the ribs. Ouch, sensei, he hissed. To the right was Kakashi, face buried in the newest edition of Ika Ika. What did I say about looking at them when they start shouting their names? The Jonin chided. With a final glare, Naruto turned back to the now sunset pair and grinned. Nay, Lee, I know what our first battle should be. Instantly Naruto was inches from a star-eyed Rock Lee. My rival. What shall be our first youthful showcase? Naruto puffed out his chest and took a deep breath. Lee, I challenge you to see which sensei is the better shinobi. We will watch them fight each other through rock, paper, scissors. He finished. Guy and Lee were twirling in excitement, while Kakashi, that little brat. I never had anyone to fight my battles for me, the sneak. The masked Jonin thought, keeping an outward calm that could put offense to shame. A most excellent choice, Naru-san. If your sensei wins, I will run around the village 5,000 times on my pinkies. And if I fail at running around the village on my pinkies, I will do 10,000 push-ups with only my breath. And if I cannot do 10,000 push-ups with only my breath, I will. 5 minutes later, poor Naruto. The training grounds were silent. No movement could be found on them, save for a lone flyer for Ninja Babies are 10% off their first shinobi sandals that danced between the two challengers in a dusty gust of wind. Listen up, Kakashi, today is the day our tie is broken. Our record is 48-48. Soon it will be 48-49 in my favor. Guy boasted while he stretched despite the lack of physical exertion required for the game of rock, paper, scissors. Kakashi sighed at his friend's exuberance over the silly challenge. However, he would not be beat, not in front of his student. So, Kakashi Hatake, the famed comrades must never be left behind or betrayed, cast a subtle genjutsu on his best friend. Without remorse, of course. Let's get this over with then. The masked ninja held out a fisted hand, Might Guy following suit. Rock, they said in unison. Paper, the two genin waited with bated breaths, each believing their sensei would triumph. Scissors. And just like Kakashi foretold, Guy threw down paper with such gusto it sliced through the air, and in response the copycat ninja nonchalantly cut the paper with his scissors. In one instant, two green beasts were doomed to a fate of humiliation and absurd exercises, while two hip and cool shinobi were given bragging rights and ego boosts. Yatta! Naruto shouted before dodging a head slap. Giving a sheepish chuckle, the genin calmed down. Good job, sensei. Come along now, my student, it's time we checked your chakra affinity. Naruto blinked at that, completely ignoring the exuberant duo behind him who had started on their run. But sensei, isn't that stuff for Chunin? The book said so. Ma, don't you worry your pretty little head about what the book says, Naruto. Besides, Ibiki will eat his words when your paper shows lightning. Bah, sensei's wind affinity was so rare, it's doubtful you'd have it. Kakashi muttered the last part. Kakashi, sensei? You okay? Naruto asked. Of course, why wouldn't I be? And no reason. Naruto assured him, feeling very uneasy when he received a ghostly smile. But now let's go pick your affinity, I mean discover what it is. Meanwhile in the Hokage Tower, did Senpai really use Genjutsu? One Anbu asked in disbelief. To defeat Guy, another added. At a game. Finished a third Anbu. Forget that, what does he mean by, pick your affinity? Yugao muttered. Well whatever it is, I'm sure it will be a blast, am I right? A certain Anbu joked. Multiple groans were heard throughout the group crowded around the spying orb while its master was away for a smoke. Meanwhile, Kakashi felt a sudden urge to beat his old subordinates for invading his privacy, much to his confusion. Alright, Naruto, just channel your chakra into the paper and watch it crumple up into a ball. Kakashi ordered cheerfully. A confused Naruto took the paper and let a small amount of his chakra into the square sheet. His confusion rose even more when it didn't crumple up into a ball, but shredded into 6 pieces. Nai, Kakashi-sensei, what's this mean again? I forgot what the paper's properties were. Naruto looked up sheepishly only to see Kakashi staring blankly at the paper shards whispering their way down to the earth, mocking the Jonin the whole way. Not a lightning affinity. They seemed to taunt the Jonin. Sensei? Sensei, are you all right? The blonde worriedly waved a hand in front of his role model's lone eye. Kakashi blinked and came to his senses. Ma, of course I'm all right, my cute little student. The paper being cut so many times signifies you have a strong wind affinity. It's the rarest affinity in Konoha, actually. Silence rang out before Naruto did a fist bump in the air. Yada! Take that, Sasuke. I have something cool you don't, a rare affinity. But... Kakashi interrupted with a raised hand. Seeing as wind is clearly less cool than lightning, we're going to say, screw the test, and unleash your potential as a lighting jutsu master. The Jonin finished off way too cheerfully for the Genins, and the Ienbu Hokage who were observing through the crystal ball in Sarutobi's office, liking. But sensei, I read in the books that you have to first complete your primary affinity before learning a secondary one? The masked blonde asked the masked silver-haired, who just chuckled. As my student you will learn that such petty expectations are beneath us, hip and cool, shinobi. We get to pick our affinities, with some minor hardships, he whispered the last part. Now, hold on tight. Kakashi said before slugging a protesting Naruto over his shoulder. In a burst of speed they were off to God only knows where. Hokage Tower, minutes later. Hiruzen Sarutobi had never witnessed such insane affinity pride as he had just seen in one Kakashi Hatake. For one who knew jutsu from every element, the former Anbu captain was rather keen to force an incompatible elemental affinity into an untrained genin. This was not what I was expecting to see when I came in to find 20 of my best and brightest crowded around my orb. The old Kage thought. Resisting a face palm as the Anbu around him exchanged quiet bets over what Kakashi would do next, Sarutobi cleared his throat. Now, why don't we all realize that Kakashi is more than likely just playing a little prank on my surrogate grandson? There would be a better chance of hell freezing over than Kakashi trying something stupid with Naruto. Sarutobi assured everyone, and himself, closing his eyes and nodding. Sir, then why are they at the lighting cliffs and why is the orange menace, I mean Naruto, holding 2 lighting rods? An Anbu asked sheepishly, pointing to perhaps the stupid training scene anyone had ever seen. The Hokage's eyes popped open before he was instantly on his feet, giving rapid. Tiger. Boar. Cat. With me, everyone else on standby. We are going to stop Kakashi before he digs his own, and ours, grave. With Kakashi and Naruto, moments before at the infamous Lightning Cliffs. Kakashi-sensei, are you sure this will work? Naruto asked, squinted eyes holding suspicion as he looked from the lightning rods, one in each hand, and the cliff above teeming with endless crackles of lightning. Naruto, have some faith in your favorite sensei and... But Irika-sensei is my favorite. Naruto retorted, defending the man who saved him from Mizuki and always gave him ramen. Never noticing how Kakashi's lone eye darkened, the genin was unaware of how complicated he just made his so-called favorite sensei's life. So you want to play it that way, Irika? Well, perhaps it's time Kakashi here shows who is top dog. Kakashi thought darkly. With Irika. Dedicated academy teacher Irika Umino had just spent his day in the most rewarding way possible, grading papers. Yes, the young scarred shinobi in question was not one to bemoan paperwork but embrace it. His whole class being on a field trip to the Konoha berry fields left Irika the alone time he needed to be productive, until an unbridled feeling of joy filled his core. Ah, perhaps one of my former students are thanking me for all I taught them, the Academy Chunin thought while sipping on tea. On Lido drop it on all the freshly graded papers as pure terror ripped through him. Who the hell did I piss off to be able to send me KI so far away? Perhaps a vacation to IWA is in order if I'm getting this feeling I'm about to be murdered in my sleep here. Back with Naruto and Kakashi. Neither teacher or student realized their effect on poor Irika Umino and thus went on with Operation Choose an Affinity. Even if there was really only one willing party to the hair-brain scheme. So you want me, a new genin? Naruto started slowly while looking at the cliffs once more. Yes. To take these rods. Well, the metal in kunai aren't as effective as chakra channeling metal, after all. And stand on the cliff, just waiting for lightning to hit me. That would be preferable to nothing happening. All so that I can get a lightning affinity in a way not even you're sure will work? When you put it that way it does sound ludicrous. But this is chakra-infused lightning as the legends say, and you have super healing from your tenant. I'm sure this will work out. Was Naruto's deadpan response. He may be a knuckle-headed shinobi, but he wasn't suicidal. If this works I'll teach you my signature lighting jutsu. Naruto gave a still half-suspicious squint. That will beat Sasuke's fire jutsu. Kakashi added into his offer, carrot dangling so tempting in front of the young genin. See you at the top, sensei. Naruto shouted and used his newly acquired tree walking to race up the steep, awe-inspiring cliff. After all, Naruto was a pre-teenage boy and a genin, also known as the perfect combination to be easily bribed into doing Kakashi's bidding. With a chuckle at his apprentice's future apprentice, he had to remind himself, antics. The copycat ninja pulled out his favorite little orange book to pass the time before Naruto rewrote what was possible. 5 minutes later, the now battle-ready Hokage and 3 slightly panting Anbu arrive in time to see the completely insane Naruto Uzumaki, the only person holding back their worst nightmare, proudly lift dual chakra poles at an incoming bolt. No. Naruto! Sarutobi shouted over the crackle as his surrogate grandson shouted. Yada! With all the force they could muster the new arrivals ran up the rocky side, not paying attention to the fact that Kakashi Hatake was doing the same exact thing, worry having won out at the last instant. In the seal, Kurama, the most dangerous and awesome in his humble opinion of the tailed beasts, had been having a wonderful dream that involved him eating Madara and banning ramen for all eternity. Had been was the key phrase as more voltage shot through his seal, leaving his hair sticking everywhere. Than the time Azura and Indra separated the island of waves using their new toy, the legendary thunderbolt Kurama's father had crafted for them. Kurama had been sleeping peacefully in a cave for the week when those insufferable brats had accidentally sent a spare blast into his temporary lair. Kurama had never liked those humans. Now though, the ancient being would have preferred such a shock compared to being woken up for the first time in almost a decade by his new container's stupidity. I swear, Shikake has it easy being sealed in those jars. Kurama thought grumpily as he glanced through the brat's memories, which only caused him to face paw. Trying to gain a lighting affinity? What kind of baka thinks this is the way to do it? He thought, this time in utter disbelief. However, checking out the seal for weaknesses and feeling his container's chakra. You have got to be shitting me. The blast not only made his seal stronger but this. I'm going back to sleep. Muttering about the unfairness of the world, Kurama the nine-tailed fox rolled over in an attempt to find another comfortable sleeping position. Back outside the seal, Naruto groaned as he tried to sit up, but felt his Gigi's hand pushing him down. It's okay Naruto, you're alive, amazingly, so just rest. Sarutobi ordered kindly. Naruto's clothes were intact. Kakashi had only bought him the same clothes he used to wear, which were built for lighting users, and the burns were healing up. Naruto nodded along. Kakashi arrived with an eye smile, ignoring the glares of the Hokage and the Anbu, even if theirs were hidden. Walking confidently up to his student, Kakashi put a piece of chakra paper in his twitching hands, not commenting on the singed hair that had specks of white. "Let's try this again," he ordered. "Kakashi, you're lucky he's alive." "Senpai, that's not how this works, you know." The Anbu protested. They were silenced though by Naruto's paper crumbling up into a tight ball. Kakashi didn't comment but patted his student on the head and carried him off, telling the boy that Ikaraku's was in his future for a job well done. The Anbu and Hokage were sharing slack-jawed looks. Bor moved to comment but felt Tenzo's hand on his shoulder, signifying to shut up. "I'm too old for this sheet," Sarutobi muttered finally, and started walking home, pipe in hand. "And finally, with our lovable one-eyed warhawk. Well, at least we know the weapon is seemingly unbreakable," Danzo said after a long pause when he received the report. When Tuchi Ichiraku welcomed his favorite customers arrive, the aged ramen chef repressed his shock. Kakashi Hatake, a boy he's seen go from stoic to heartbroken to eccentric currently, was giving the sky the middle finger while muttering something about the universe sking it as his apprentice gained lighting superpowers. Next to him was Naruto in the rather fashionable getup he had taken to wearing since he became a genin, though Tuchi was sure lighting sparks and the white specks in his sunny blonde hair was new. Dutifully ignoring the fact that every bowl disappeared behind the masks, the ramen stand owner did what he always did and kept the bowls coming. After all, no matter the strangeness of the scene, Naruto alone would fund the way to his retirement, and one doesn't simply annoy their beachfront mansion fund. "Tuchi GG." Naruto called after 30 minutes and 20 bowls meeting their maker in the Jinchuuriki's stomach. "Sensei is paying, so can I have 5 bowls to go please?" Meanwhile, Kakashi Hatake felt his life-saving draining into his apprentice to B's stomach and mentally cried as each Ryo was handed over to a cackling ramen stand owner. I need to go lay down. Naruto, normal time tomorrow, okay?" The copy Nin asked absently and disappeared in a swirl of leaves, bemoaning his choice to treat the legendary ramen vacuum to dinner. "Next time I'll just get Tenzo to pay. The man is rather gullible after all." Kakashi chuckled darkly at his inner thoughts once he reached the safety of his apartment. Meanwhile, Naruto started his toddle home with a bag of ramen and enlarged stomach. Waving to the gleeful ramen stand owner and Ayam, the genin never noticed the 4 Anbu surrounding him until he bumped into one. "Hey Flamingo," he said automatically at the sight of his arch-nemesis in the core, Flamingo. The two had been at odds since his childhood when he had accidentally dumped orange sticky paint on the man on his first day in Anbu, also known as Survive the Orange Terror Day in the core, not that Naruto was aware. "Bane of my existence," Flamingo bit out just as instinctively, and the group fell into an awkward silence. The small crowd of Anbu started gathering attention, so the agent cleared his throat. "Hokage, Sama has ordered a full medical evaluation following your defiance of all that is good and natural this afternoon. Please come quietly." Unlike last time when unsaid, normal genin, heck normal shinobi, would tremble at the sight of 4 Anbu in a diamond formation around them, especially as one was holding a net, even there was a slight tremble in his hands. "Oh yeah? Just try it, you couldn't even catch me in the academy. I ain't going to get a shot again." Naruto, based on his bold proclamation, was not an ordinary shinobi. All the Anbu save for Flamingo flinched in remembrance last time Naruto was required to go to the hospital. Despite outward appearances, Konoha had a vested interest in its Jinchuuriki being somewhat healthy. As such, yearly checkups and vaccines for various diseases and poisons build up the resistance young, as Danzo proposed when asked why a 6-year-old Naruto was given 60 times the lethal dose for Nightshade, were required. For the first few years, it was child's play to drag the screaming child to his 2-day stint where he would receive a checkup, shots, and a seal evaluation. Of course he was unconscious for this part. The plan was to make Konoha's Jinchuuriki able to survive longer when assassination attempts inevitably happened. However, over the years it got increasingly difficult to impart the gift of immunity to the brat. Last year it turned into a 10-day-long evasion course by the child who ended up being captured by Irika Umino and 17 ANBU who needed 15 times the lethal dose of sedatives to take him down for an hour. The night the Blonde Terror was captured had been filled with cheers and alcohol at ANBU HQ. Now though, Flamingo wasn't sure his squad could beat the Orange Menace who could spam the use of shadow clones and tree walking with terrifying ease. No longer did they have that advantage over the brat, much to the ANBU's ire. Sama insisted on giving Naruto the chance to be mature and head in willingly, hence the wait for Kakashi Baka, Flamingo's personal nickname for his old rival captain, to leave and a food coma induced Naruto to head out. Too bad for the idealistic Hokage, but Kakashi Hatake was notorious for vehemently hating all things medical, and had instructed his pupil on the art of evading the white coat Thames. "Catch me if you can." The genin screamed as he switched with a random stranger using a kawarimi before a net could be placed. Flamingo's eye twitched while he began giving orders even as 500 banes of his existence covered the streets. "All units after the menace. Do not let him reach the forest. I repeat, do not let him reach the forest." The irate and hysterical captain barked into his headset. Sure, cousin." The one voice Flamingo didn't want to hear crackled over the radio waves. The Hyuga Anbu ripped his headset out and glared at his subordinates. "Somebody, anybody, get me Irika Umino. Something tells me he's our only hope." "Yes, Captain," was the resounding reply. With Irika, moments before at his apartment, one Irika Umino was finally settled down after settling his nerves from earlier. His mind was in turmoil as he sipped a fresh cup of tea. "Man, I need a vacation if it took 30 minutes to calm myself from a feeling. I'm a beloved academy teacher and Mizuki is in prison. Who could possibly wish me harm?" The oblivious instructor stretched his sore muscles when his friend Deer from Anbu suddenly crashed through the window like a married Ika fan during that time of the month. "Ai," was Irika's shrill reaction. Poising his now empty cup as a weapon, the Chunin prepared to strike the imposter down, as Deer was extremely introverted. "Nanny!" "Senpai, it's me, Haku Sadachi, your childhood friend." Deer removed his mask just enough for his face to be shown. Indeed, Irika's dear friend and Kohai was staring back at him with terror-filled eyes. Irika sighed and set his teacup down. "Haku, what's wrong? Mice are generally louder than you." Haku shifted from foot to foot. "Well, you see, it's about Sen." Irika was across the room and shaking Deer violently. "What's happened? Is he hurt? Did he get kidnapped? Tell me now." Deer turned green under his mask as Irika continued the barrage of questions and held up his hands for mercy. "Oh, I apologize, Haku. I get a tad overprotective about Naruto. Please, proceed with telling me who I must kill." Haku Sadachi wished his old senpai a pleasant life in hell as he described why Naruto must be captured quickly with a hidden sweat drop. 10 minutes later. "I'll kill that son of a beach. Let me go, Haku, or you'll become a casualty." Irika struggled against Deer's firm hand. "Senpai, don't you think we should first bring Naruto-san in for a checkup?" Deer asked, ever the voice of reason. That stopped Irika cold. "Of course," Irika said after a moment. "Let's go scoop up my wayward student." "Excellent plan, senpai." Then it's off with Kakashi's ball. Deer wisely chose not to answer and followed the legendary Orange Menace tracker, as the Scarred Man was known in ANBU. With Naruto. Naruto cackled in glee as he evaded yet another ANBU with a net by switching with clones. Said clone created more Narutos while the original flooded 500 more across the edge of the village. Running through the back streets, Naruto found himself in an abandoned part of Konoha that itched of death from the Kyuubi attack. "Though cleaned up, I still get a creepy vibe from this place." Naruto shuddered at the barren ruins. A clone popping itself nearby to warn the original about advancing ANBU made him push forward, however, through an old ramen shop that had obviously seen better days. Going through the store, Naruto saw an open door off to the side with a cellar door. What's this?" He mused aloud when it opened to a dark passageway before shrugging and doing what any preteen boy would do in a shinobi village. He entered it with zero regard for safety. 20 minutes of scurrying later, Naruto was having a blast peeking into the weird rooms that scattered the corridors, though he made a mental note to not go back to the one with severed heads on spikes. Hee, those losers will never find me now. The Jinchuuriki boasted in the spirit of adventure only to turn a corner and crash into something solid. Gathering his bearings, the genin blinked and let his eyes go upwards. And thus, Konoha's Jinchuuriki staring a confused Danzo Shimura in the eye. Something tells me I'm not supposed to be here. The boy thought with trepidation. What's this? He mused aloud when it opened to a dark passageway before shrugging and doing what any preteen boy would do in a shinobi village. He entered it with zero regard for safety. 20 minutes of scurrying later, Naruto was having a blast peeking into the weird rooms that scattered the corridors, though he made a mental note to not go back to the one with severed heads on spikes. Hee, those losers will never find me now. The Jinchuuriki boasted in the spirit of adventure only to turn a corner and crash into something solid. Gathering his bearings, the genin blinked and let his eyes go upwards. And thus, Konoha's Jinchuuriki staring a confused Danzo Shimura in the eye. Something tells me I'm not supposed to be here. The boy thought with trepidation. In Root's passageways with Naruto looked up at the weird bandaged guy in slight confusion, feeling a chill run up his spine. For some reason the man in front of him screamed, "I hate ramen." "Say, mummy man, do you like ramen?" Naruto asked, tilting his head. "Back with Irika and poor dear." Konoha's resident orange menace tracker was looking in horror at the blonde and white speckled-haired masses. All 500 or so cackling genin were goading Irika with, "Naruto-sensei, which one of us is the real one?" and others such immature drabble. The Chunin ignored them all however and smirked. "None of you," he said confidently. Every single ANBU in the vicinity stiffened at the implication. "Now, all of you dispel or I'll make the real you help out in Konohamaru's class for a month." The air hung heavy as the clones contemplated that, then as one they all went poof. Deer mechanically turned to his senpai. "Say, senpai, if you ever want a pay raise, ANBU has a spot for you." Deer promised. Irika chuckled nervously and rubbed the back of his head. "Heh, I'm happy where I am, but thank you. Now it's time to find my knuckle-headed student." Irika pulled a small tuning fork from his vest and ANBU surrounded the man. "Now," he says while making the ram seal, "Academy Super Secret Jutsu, Troublemaker Tracker." The fork began to glow and pulled Irika in the direction of run-down portion of the village. Like puppies whose mother held a treat, the ANBU dutifully followed their Chunin comrade, one thought shared amongst them. "I will bribe this god amongst men for that jutsu." Back to Danzo and Naruto. Danzo Shimura, the darkness of shinobi and most dangerous man in the shadows, blinked back surprise. It wasn't often someone could make him do a double take, but the resident Jinchuuriki had done it twice. However, Danzo never looked a gift horse in the mouth, and dredged up from his memory everything his agents told him about the brat. Putting on a kind smile, Danzo looked his future weapon in the eye. Why, of course, young shinobi, only a monster would hate ramen. Only Danzo's shinobi training kept him from gagging. Truthfully, the root leader abhorred the dish. His late wife had made it every night and the woman was a rather unique culinary artist. Never had someone burned water. When the Jinchuuriki brightened in happiness, Danzo knew he had done the right thing. It was now just a simple case of kidnapping the boy. All for the good of Konoha, of course. "Well then you're clearly not evil," the boy declared in absolute certainty. Danzo raised an eyebrow when Naruto grimaced right after smiling. "Is something the matter, Uzumaki?" "No. Well, Irika-sensei just made every single one of my clones dispel," he admitted sheepishly while rubbing his forehead, slightly dizzy. He never noticed Danzo's eye sharpen slightly. "How would you like to learn a jutsu?" Danzo stuck the carrot out there. Unsurprisingly, it worked like a charm with the Chunin. "Yada! Would I ever? You're the best mummy," Naruto yelled in happiness. To Danzo's horror, there seemed to be stars in the boy's eyes. "Funny, I wasn't aware he could cast Genjutsu. Wait, why can't Shirsui's eye expel it?" The root leader was highly disturbed, but took control of the situation quickly. First off, you must follow some rules. Anything. Naruto promised while he followed Danzo through the halls. Rule number 1, you will only address me as Danzo-sama while I am instructing you. Right, Danzo-sama? Second, you will listen to everything I say when I say it. Aha! The blonde had pulled out the Ika Ika novel he had been reading, ignoring the slight sparks that came off the pages due to the ordeal it had went through. Growing a twitch from the clear disrespect, Danzo snatched the book away. Our first order of business is to rid you of your bad habits, particularly the ones that failure of a Hatake has instilled upon you. With a harsh glare, Danzo snapped his fingers and the offending book burst into flames. And that's when the halls filled with a torrent of red chakra. Naruto's eyes were shadowed by his bangs, but the cloak spoke of his feelings perfectly. You mock my sensei, and then you dare to burn the first gift anyone has given me in person? I'll kill you. By the end, Naruto's voice had become demonic and he rushed Danzo's still form with outstretched, clawed hands. With surprising speed augmented by Kyuubi's chakra and accuracy from Kakashi's training, Naruto aimed at the throat. Danzo dodged backwards with great limberness not befitting his years and made a single hand sign. You will cease this immediately. The War Hawk commanded. Tree branches that oozed Hashirama cells ensnared the berserk Jinchuuriki and multiple root agents created a semi-circle around the blonde. One walked up and knocked the boy out with the blunt end of a kunai. Please tell me our chakra barriers are still up, Danzo said. The one with the kunai nodded. Of course, Danzo-sama. Excellent. Fu, take the weapon to a cell and then prepare a rumor of Orochimaru kidnapping it. That upstart was always too bitter about Minato, so him snatching his son is entirely plausible. Hi, Danzo-sama. The root and Bu bowed and followed their orders to perfection. Soon, I will have a perfectly obedient weapon to destroy Hiruzen with and protect Konoha. Danzo chuckled. It seems karma is finally paying me back for how wonderful I am. With that ego boost, he ambled down the hall and prepared for the endless council meetings this would cause. Inside the seal, Kurama was not happy with today. Not only was he rudely awoken by his inane container defying every law of nature Kurama held dear and strengthened the seal, but then managed to yank his chakra away from him. Then, to top it off, Kurama was subjected to that thrice-damned wood style that Hashirama team captured him with. Now his container was sitting in front of him with a tilted head, looking extremely confused. It was clearly not the fox's day. Hey, you're the Kyuubi, aren't you? The blonde brat asked. Kurama's eye twitched. No, I'm a fluffy 11-eared rabbit. Of course I'm the Kyuubi no Kitsune you ingrain. Kurama roared and beat his head into the bars. It seemed he was fated to be stuck with someone who was half blind or all stupid. Kurama didn't know yet which one his container fit into. Oh, well, where are we and how do I get out so I can beat that bastard up for insulting Kakashi, sensei? Naruto asked. Huff, if you're not going to tell me I'll make you. And with that, Naruto walked through the bars and jumped on Kurama's nose. Kurama sputtered at the sheer audacity of the brat but was too shocked to move. Nobody, not even Hashirama team, dared to get on his nose when he wasn't restrained. Well, where am I? And my name's Naruto? What's yours? Gur, why would I care what your name is? Much less tell you mine. Slitted red eyes met sparkling blue. Naruto shrugged. Well, the book on manners that Kakashi-sensei made me read said to give your name before asking for someone else's. And I don't think calling you Fuzzy Buddy is a good idea. Naruto said with a grin behind the face mask. Kurama couldn't help it, he face-faulted. We're in your seal obviously, you got us captured by that man with one eye. Currently they are placing chakra suppression seals on your body. Oh, well, how do I get out of here? Naruto asked frantically. Kurama rolled his eyes. Just focus on leaving. Okay. Thanks, Fuzzy Buddy. Naruto exclaimed and casually jumped off the large fox. Don't you dare call me, the great Kurama, Fuzzy Buddy. I will end you. I will flay your flesh and burn your pathetic village to the ground. I will. So your name's Kurama? Cool, later Kurama, I'll come visit soon. With a final wave Naruto disappeared and Kurama realized he'd been tricked by a 13-year-old who couldn't even control a chakra element yet. Curse you Naruto Uzumaki. Here the fox paused before adding, and you too Minato. Naruto sniggered when he woke up in the damp cell alone, glad Kakashi-sensei's lessons on sing your opponent off into doing what you want paid off. He couldn't wait to tell his sensei about it over ramen. But first, how to get out of here? The room was full of chakra-suppressing seals, as was he, according to Kurama, and he was wrapped in a straitjacket. Too bad, suckers, but Kakashi-sensei taught us all how to get out of such petty restraints. Naruto remembered that day rather fondly, as it was the first time Sasuke lost in a fair contest with him. Flashback. Several days before in the forest. I just spread some bear hormones on all of you. I'd say you have an hour tops before a lonely bear comes looking for love. You have until then to escape, Kakashi remarked viciously and used a shunshin to leave. Sakura turned to her teammates. Naruto, we have to get out of here. Stiff nods from the males were her answer. How though? Kakashi took away our chakra and weapons and we're in shinobi-grade straitjackets, Sasuke pointed out. The three struggled uselessly for an hour before a bear lumbered by. He sniffed the air and hearts formed. Turning to the source of such a CC scent, the bear roared and began walking like a stud straight towards Sasuke. Hey there Miss CC, I'm the best grizzly out here, why not join me in my cave? The bear asked, not that any of the genin could understand, and then gave the broody genin a slobbery kiss. Naruto, motivated to not be noticed, and making his move while Sasuke was paralyzed, he discovered the secrets to the bonds. Like a good teammate he freed Sakura and Sasuke. And like a hip and cool shinobi he took blackmail pictures first. Back to the present. Naruto smirked at the beautiful memory and applied the skills that no jonin instructor would teach their genin. Well, most jonin didn't know how to escape this trap themselves. Within 5 minutes Naruto was free and tried to door. And sweat dropped when he discovered it wasn't locked. Do people really underestimate me this much? He pouted while ignoring the fact it was his stupidity that got him in the current mess to begin with. With the infiltration skills Kakashi drilled into him, Naruto began navigating the dank tunnels in hopes of getting back to the surface. Okay, escape Psycho Mummy Man, find Kakashi-sensei, avoid the Tems who want to stick needles in me, and then kick Psycho Mummy's tail for making fun of Kakashi-sensei. Naruto thought while running. Entrance to Route. Irika, a dozen ANBU, and Hiruzen who had joined for the field demonstration of Irika's fascinating jutsu, stared at the corridors underneath an abandoned ramen shop. Flamingo activated his Byakugan on instinct and gasped. Sama, my Byakugan is blocked from seeing down here. The ANBU reported. Hiruzen went into Hokage mode in an instant, recognizing the structure as one of Danzo's old root bases. Umbu. We are going down into a very foolish yet powerful man's base of operation. One I thought was at least under my control. Follow me and prepare to fight to protect Naruto-kun. Irika, stay. A cloud of dust was left where Irika stood only moments ago as the man charged with abandon into the underground tunnels. Here. Hiruzen finished in annoyance. With a sigh he had Anbu follow them as he summoned a bow staff in preparation. Despite the fact Danzo deserved every last drop of Irika's ire, Hiruzen sent a quick prayer for the old fool. With Irika minutes later, Irika ran like the kunoichi of hell were on him, knowing Naruto was nearby judging by the way the tuning fork was vibrating. Turning a sharp corner he found his wayward student who looked rather lost. Naruto! He exclaimed and engulfed the genin in a bone-crushing hug. Irika-sensei, what are you doing here? How'd you even find me? Naruto asked through gasps of air. Irika discreetly hid his device into his flak jacket and began berating the boy. You idiot! What were you thinking running from ANBU, hiding in a bunker? And, not to mention, letting yourself get struck by lightning. Naruto gulped. Well, you see, sensei. Nah, we're going to the hospital right now for a full check-up. Kakashi better have a good explanation for this. Irika started dragging Naruto by the ear. All the ANBU were slack-jawed and deer-whistled when the duo passed. No. I refuse. First that mummy man Danzo tries to lock me up and now you want to take me to that horror house. The blonde dug his heels in and glared at his teacher in defiance. He hated those check-ups. They gave him shots, made him feel like he was going to die, and he could never remember half of the visit. Due to this, Naruto Uzumaki was sure of one thing: hospitals were bad. Irika and the ANBU were about to force him when Hiruzen spoke. "Nukun," he said kindly. Naruto turned with tears in his eyes. "Hokage Gigi. If you go willingly, I will give your team a C rank outside the village and take you out for ramen." The last part caused internal turmoil, but the aged leader figured Kakashi could foot the bill. Suddenly it was Irika being yanked towards the exit as the blonde suddenly knew exactly how to get outside. "Hokage-sama?" Flamingo asked his leader. "I know, Flamingo. Keep going forward." Naruto confirmed it. "I have a former friend to flay." Next day, gates of Konoha. Yada. Another mission. Naruto cheered only to sober up slightly at Kakashi's reminder of, "Hip and cool shinobi don't say yada." "Mama, calm down. Our mission is to deliver this." Kakashi holds up a scroll with an official Hokage seal. "To our spy master in the land of lightning. It's not time sensitive, so we will be training on the way. Now, let's go before Irika finds me, notices." Naruto left the hospital. With happy smiles from all at the information of a mission and training, Team 7 set off, Kakashi resisting the urge to look behind him, knowing it would somehow summon that demon. Oh, how Kakashi regretted underestimating his opponent for Naruto's favorite sensei. No matter, Kakashi would return stronger and ready to smite the blight that was Irika Yumino. It was his new Nindo. Amongst his thoughts was a dark chuckle at Danzo Shimura's current predicament. Tenzo had promised to save him a private session with the bastard that attempted to steal his precious apprentice. Some days it was good to be a jonin. Yada. Another mission. Naruto cheered only to sober up slightly at Kakashi's reminder of, "Hip and cool shinobi don't say yada." "Mama, calm down. Our mission is to deliver this." Kakashi holds up a scroll with an official Hokage seal. "To our spy master in the land of lightning. It's not time sensitive, so we will be training on the way. Now, let's go before Irika finds me." Notices. Naruto left the hospital. With happy smiles from all at the information of a mission and training, Team 7 set off, Kakashi resisting the urge to look behind him, knowing it would somehow summon that demon. Oh, how Kakashi regretted underestimating his opponent for Naruto's favorite sensei. No matter, Kakashi would return stronger and ready to smite the blight that was Irika Yumino. It was his new Nindo. Amongst his thoughts was a dark chuckle at Danzo Shimura's current predicament. Tenzo had promised to save him a private session with the bastard that attempted to steal his precious apprentice. Some days it was good to be a jonin. On the way to the land of lightning, Naruto was currently glaring at the leaf between his fingers. Kakashi Sensei had handed him a pouch with almost 300 leaves from the village with instructions to make it crumble with just chakra. So far Naruto managed to make his 50th leaf crumble instead of cut on the edges if one squished their eyes closed while under a genjutsu. He thought it was an obvious improvement from 2 days ago when they started out. While Naruto was glaring at his leaf, Sakura was balancing a kunai in her palm for more chakra control. Would have let her just read a book the entire time, but his cute little apprentice insisted on being fair. Kakashi would have rolled his eyes at the thought, seeing as advanced chakra control wasn't technically in the required curriculum for Genin, and Naruto was getting it only because he was to be Kakashi's clone. However, the faster he trained the other two Genin, the faster they'd become Chunin. The faster they became Chunin, the faster he'd have Naruto all to himself. That twisted logic was what led to him having Sasuke read a book on basic escape maneuvers that could be used in the Chunin exams and would look impressive to proctors, enough to make him pass, hopefully. His Genin would all be Chunin their first try, Kakashi vowed. The next 2 exams were in IWA and Kumo, respectfully, and the Jonin doubted he'd be allowed to send his sensei's son and Jinchuuriki to a foreign nation for exams. Rarely ever did a Jinchuuriki go to another nation for their exams, It was basically a surefire way to make your allies, read, potential enemies to slaughter mercilessly, be suspicious and send assassins after your village's resident Jinchuuriki. No, they would pass this exam, even Sakura, and Kakashi could rest easy knowing he gave the two non-apprentices a solid start to being loyal shinobi and kunoichi. Naruto looked at his slightly smug-looking sensei in concern. Why does he keep looking at all of us like trophies? The blonde thought. However, his concern was forgotten when his leaf crumbled up into a tight ball. Sensei, look, I did it. Yada, I'm the best. Naruto cheered. Kakashi sent a long-suffering sigh at how uncool it was but gave his student an eye smile nonetheless. Good work, Naruto. Now, just do that over and over. Until when? The boy questioned. Kakashi's eye smile grew a little cruel. Until your fingers bleed. Remember, the bloodiest shinobi is the strongest shinobi. Kakashi quipped. Sakura gulped with Naruto. The Uchiha clan doesn't do bloody. Sasuke scoffed, remembering how his father would always lecture on staying clean while slaughtering the masses, enemy masses, of course. It was tradition, even Itachi was hardly bloody after killing everyone, an impressive feat Sasuke had to admit. Neither does the Haruno clan. Sakura added. Sakura-han, there is no Haruno clan, Naruto pointed out, remembering his textbook on the known clans. There is now Naruto Baka. Sakura replied dangerously. Naruto wisely shut up and reached for another leaf. However, the group was walking by a shrine for the local fox deity. Naruto, being Naruto, set off a series of events by one stupid decision. There you go. He cheered after setting a ramen cup in the offering box and wiping off the lid. The blonde figured Kurama would appreciate him feeding the fox spirits. As Kakashi rolled his and the group continued their journey, none noticed the pair of fox eyes that peered from the bushes at the boy who smelled of foxes. The next morning, Kakashi knew sleeping in the wild so close to the border with lightning was a terrible idea, so he did the only thing an awesome sensei such as himself could do. He footed the bill for a hotel room. Well, 2 rooms. No way was he sharing a sleeping space with 3 genin, sensei's son or not. So, with an eye smile and threats to behave, Kakashi went to his private room and relaxed for the evening, completely expecting the morning to be uneventful. Oh, how wrong he was. When his team met on the road to continue their journey, his precious little apprentice had betrayed him. For a fox. There, sitting smugly on his sensei's son's shoulders was a black fox with red eyes. Idly Kakashi noticed Sasuke was nursing his hand and inching away from the creature. Sensei. Look, I got a summons. Naruto bragged, twisting the knife of treachery deeper into Kakashi's heart. And oh! Kakashi shouted to the heavens. Why does he never get the dog contract? 3 confused genin and an annoyed fox looked at him and Kakashi cleared his throat. Naruto. Let's have a little chat. Just the 2 of us, okay? Once they were alone in a nearby forest, Kakashi gave his apprentice to be a hard look. The fox. Explain. Now. Naruto scratched his mask nervously. See, it started like this. Previous night with Naruto. After his teammates fell asleep, Sakura trying to snuggle with Sasuke, Naruto left the stuffy hotel room for the cool night air. The moon was full and the lush forest around him felt like home. Pisasich kid. A voice called from a bush. Naruto jumped up, scared out of his wits. What a scaredy kit, who would have guessed you'd be Kurama-sama's vessel? You know about Kurama? Naruto blurted out to the disembodied voice before realizing his mistake. I mean ma, who cares about Kurama? Why are you here? He finished lamely. Apparently his Kakashi channeling powers were ineffective at night. The voice seemed to sweat drop. Yeah, sure kid. Anyways, I watched you put that divine food into our collection box today. Yeah, ramen is divine, Naruto drooled. Wait, you saw that? Of course. The voice boasted. Well fine, now who are you? I'm Naruto Uzumaki. The voice scoffed and started circling him. Who me? I am the darkness of the clan, the best at all things awesome. I'm the one humans fear and foxes envy. I'm the president of the Kurama fan club, and most amazing tracker ever. Puma, Kuhu-sama the cool. Out jumped a cat-sized fox who carried a smirk. Naruto blinked, taking in the black fur, white paws, and red eyes, before falling on the ground laughing. Kuro seemed to take offense to that and bit his ear. Shut up, I'll have you know I'm the son of the chief. Sorry. Just, why are you here? Heh, glad you asked. I have a proposition for you. Kuro began. Back to the present. And then he let me sign the fox contract. I'm like the third summoner ever, is that cool? Even if their initiation test was really difficult. Naruto finished. Kakashi face-palmed at this ludicrous explanation, finding the irony that the Fox clan was as obsessed with ramen as his student, not amusing since the boy signed the contract. It wasn't fair, he reasoned. His apprentice should summon dogs, not foxes. Wait, a shinobi could have 2 contracts. And if Naruto ended up favoring the clearly superior dog contract? Well, all the better. Naruto, could you go grab that stick on the other side of the clearing for me? Sure, sensei. Naruto chirped in as cool of a voice as he could, walking somewhat lazily away. Kakashi was so proud. Kuro, he drawled when they were alone. Swiping the fox off his student was child's play. That's Kuro-sama to you, commoner. I could kill you before you could blink. Kuro is fine. Glad we agree. Now, Kuro, please leave. I know you are feeding off of Naruto's chakra. Now be a good summons and poof away. Kakashi said with a vindictive, if hidden, smirk. Kuro sputtered, but a flare of Kakashi's chakra made the creature whimper and disappear with a huff and promises of revenge. Hey, where'd Kuro go? Naruto asked when he returned with a random stick. Kakashi chuckled. Oh, the precious creature had things to do. The one-eyed jonin lied. Naruto tilted his head suspiciously before shrugging. All right, ready to go? He asked. With a gleam in his eye, Kakashi pulled out a scroll he had been planning to save for the Chunin exams. Wait, Naruto, I have a little gift for you. Huh, was his intelligent reply. On the road once more. And that's how Kakashi successfully completed another checked box on his mini-me plan. Naruto was now the proud owner of the dog contract and had Pakin's youngest on his head. Unlike most clans, the dog contract was not connected to every summon in their species, but rather smaller packs, each holding 30 to 40 canines at any one time. Kakashi, and now Naruto, was affiliated with Pakin's pack and would have access to any of the adults in the pack, even if Kakashi himself only summoned the same elite few. Naruto was being primed for the next generation. If the pup would stop letting the puppy chew on the white strands in his hair like a pansy, that is. Oh well, he can learn to be the boss of them after the mission, I suppose, Kakashi lamented. Sasuke looked absolutely livid at the idea that the former Dobe had 2 summoning contracts, but Kakashi quickly corrected that by dangling a fire dragon jutsu scroll in front of the Avenger. It would take the boy weeks to learn, and thus out of Kakashi's hair, as it should be. Sakura looked miffed at not getting something, so Kakashi just had to part ways with an easy genjutsu scroll. It would be enough to get them through the exams, hopefully. Oh, the things he did for the ungrateful brats. Hey, we're here! Naruto shouted, pointing at the hot spring they were supposed to be meeting the spy master at. The blonde was excited and didn't even notice when the puppy puked in his hair from motion sickness. Tisk, no need to shout. Now let's get this over with. Sasuke ordered. Ma, why don't you 3 go eat lunch in town and I'll go to the meeting and we can leave within an hour. You don't want us there, sensei? Naruto asked, downtrodden. Sakura shared his expression and Kakashi began to sweat. No, but it's boring. Now shoo. He replied. How could he tell them that Jiraiya was the spy master and no doubt would want to meet Naruto? No way in hell, not if Kakashi had something to say about it. The literary genius would probably try to pass on the Toad contract and make the boy his apprentice. Jiraiya wrote genius literature, and Kakashi would hate to have to kill the man. Nobody messed with his apprentice. Nobody. Oh, all right. Let's go, guys. Sakura relented and led her teammates away, Naruto suggesting ramen. Meanwhile, in the seal, Kurama banged his head against his cage's wall in outrage. How dare that disgusting group of half-wits trick his moronic container into signing the contract? I should have killed them when I had the chance. The QB chastised himself, hating that he showed mercy all those centuries ago. Less than 100 years after Kurama was unsealed from his father, a group of fox kits stumbled into his napping place. Normally Kurama would have eaten them, but the kits called him Kurama-sama and worshipped him. It was nice after being alone and grieving, so in his infinite wisdom he taught them about chakra and how to speak human. Then they never wanted to leave. The first batch of the foxes were cute. The 20th? Not so much. But Kurama couldn't just kill them, it was too evil. So he snuck out like a coward one night and ran to the other side of the continent. Since then they've spread like viruses. No matter how many he killed or threatened, they just kept popping up everywhere. When Mito sealed him, he thought he was free as her status was secret. It was the only good thing about being sealed like his pathetic siblings. Until now. Now, his idiotic container became their summoner and friends with his fan club's president. It was an outcry. Time to try to talk Naruto into slaughtering them. Yeah, maybe killing them at their source would work. Contented, Kurama curled up for another nap. Back outside with Kakashi. After his genin left, the jonin strolled into the hot springs bar and ordered the Gamma special, as was the code. The bartender gave a subtle nod and soon Jiraiya was sitting next to him. Strangely enough all the patrons left. Jiraiya, Sama, Kakashi lifted his glass. Jiraiya grinned, his words seeming to be bigger than Kakashi remembered. Brat, Sensei didn't tell me your team would be the messenger. Where's the kids? I've been meaning to meet my godson. The Sannin inquired. Kakashi lazily slid the scroll he'd been protecting over. They're occupied and we're on a schedule. Nonsense. I'll even pay for your team to sleep at the hot spring for the night. Heh, perhaps he could start summoning or the Rasengan. Absolutely not. He's my apprentice and as such I'll be teaching him the Rasengan. Kakashi bit back, affronted. Now you listen here, brat. There's an organization called Jiraiya started before he was cut off. Help, Team 7 shouted as one as they bolted into the restaurant as one. A shark guy tried to eat us. All three sported minor wounds, Naruto having yellow-colored hands. Kakashi was alert and was about to order them to calm down and tell him exactly what happened. But then Kisame Hashigaki, notorious S-ranked criminal, appeared in the doorway with different colored paints on his strange cult-like robe. The red clouds were a nice touch though, Kakashi admitted. Nobody pranks Kisame and lives. Nobody. Now come here and die like men. Of course Naruto would prank an S-class Nin, of course. Naruto dragged his disgruntled teammates through the town, following the faint scent of ramen in the air. Naruto, stop. You're making Pakumi sick. Sakura chided, and sure enough the tiny pug was green once more and threatened to hurl. Naruto skidded to a stop and held up the girl puppy. Ma, sorry Pakumi-chan. Let's be hip and cool as we search for the heavenly food. Pakumi pants and wags her little tail, drawing coos from Sakura and an ice smile from Sakura. Sasuke rolls his eyes. Let's just get food and leave. With that Naruto slouches and continues walking, channeling his Kakashi powers to the max. You say something? He asks while flipping out his book. Sasuke grows a tick. Don't change personalities. I know you heard me, Dobe. TSK, Sasuke-chan, don't insult your elders. I'm over 6 months older than you, Sasuke deadpanned. Details. Naruto waved his hand flippantly. Following his nose, the trio plus Ninkin arrived to one of the top ramen stands in the world, ranked 5th in overall ranking. Naruto was not ashamed to admit he'd been hoping for a mission in the area just to taste such divine flavors. Only to stop at the horrid sight in front him. The stand, that was supposed to be full of over 500 flavors, was closed. Sold out. Come back tomorrow. Sold out? How is the heavenly dish all gone? Naruto screamed mentally. A lone worker was sweeping the porch area and looked up with a gulp when a large wave of killing intent was aimed directly at him. Sir? The poor worker, a man no older than 18 who stayed a civilian for safety, asked. I apologize if this is an inconvenience. A rather large man who looked like a shark came in and ate every last bowl. And the tip was most generous. Do not worry, though, if you like I could reserve you a bowl tomorrow. Naruto felt his eyes flash red and Pakumi started growling at the man. Sakura backed away as the oppressive aura filled the air, though Sasuke was too busy looking ahead. Dobe, isn't that the man? He said with a smirk, figuring he could use some entertainment. The last time someone ate Ichiraku out of stock before Naruto got there, they were still in the psych ward despite the fact the boy was only 6 at the time. This should be amusing. Naruto whipped his head up at the man who dared to get between him and one of his dreams. Stalking over to the man with intent, he shoved his finger in his face. "Oh, are you the bastard who took my ramen sama? Well, are you?" Naruto accused. Kisame blinked in surprise at the shrimp in front of him that clearly needed to learn face masks were so last war. Normally, Kisame would kill the brat for such insolence, but doing so on a mission and in a public spot would bring trouble, especially as the brat was a Konoha shinobi. So, Kisame channeled all his powers of patience learned from babysitting missions, well, the ones he didn't accidentally drop the tykes off the side of a cliff, that is, and just scoffed. Yes, so? The place was cheaper than most others here. Even if it was subpar to sushi. Naruto looked like he had the blood azedi out of him and Kisame used that time to smirk and walk away. Truthfully, the ramen was delicious, but messing with the brat, obviously a genin, was what made getting up in the morning worth it. Naruto wasn't one to let such evil get away though. In a flurry of motion he pulled out a scroll and unsealed his entire paint balloon collection. All 100 of them. Next, Naruto forced some in his teammates' hands, who reluctantly agreed simply because it was easier to join Naruto than resist. In a silent countdown, Team 7 flung the balloons infused with chakra and paint at the unsuspecting Kisame that was just too tired and full of his feast to pay attention to what genin were doing. Suddenly, Kisame's backside was full of yellow, pink, and brown paint. He whipped around with his sword drawn, only to get hit again in the front by over 50 rapid-fire balloons. Looser, that will show you not to insult ramen, sama. Naruto crowed. Kisame lost his cool at the blonde and white boy and his lackeys in front of him. You brats! Prepare to die! Kisame shouted and flung a water dragon at the genin. Unfortunately, the heathens dodged and ran the opposite way. With a battle cry, Kisame chased them, intent on destroying such vile creatures. Back to where we left our hero. Kakashi was instantly in battle mode and pushed his genin behind him protectively. Naruto, now sure he was invincible with his sensei around, gave Kisame the finger. Nah, maybe if you weren't such a pansy who hated ramen, sama, I wouldn't have had to throw paint at you. Naruto mocked. Kakashi felt his eye twitch at his apprentice. Did he want them to die? Judging from the boy's taunting, Kakashi was convinced that was exactly what Naruto wanted. Kisame Hashigaki, the bijou without a tail. Kakashi states lazily, hand already on his headband and ready to be lifted. Jiraiya smirked. Oi, you're one of the Akatsuki, right? Kisame stiffened then grinned back. And what if I am? You're one of the Sannin. I'll enjoy feeding your chakra to my sword, Samahata. Silence followed for 3 seconds. The air became thick as 3 S-class shinobi flared their chakra. Suddenly, the genin were safely in the mouth of a toad as Jiraiya met Kisame's sword with his wrist plate. Grr. You're pretty quick for an old man. Kisame growled as Jiraiya felt his chakra get isigidi out. Kisame jumped back and through the wall as Kakashi pushed a Raikiri towards his side. The tree landed outside and met Kakashi's next attack with a bored yawn. You don't know how lucky you are. If I wanted to, you too would have been dead before you could form a hand sign. Jiraiya summoned a toad and engaged the nuke nin in taijutsu. You say something? Kakashi asked despite his apprehension. They had to be careful, as fighting in a foreign country in the middle of the street was potentially dicey political-wise. Kisame grew a tick mark and kicked the jonin away. Tell me where that blondie is so I can kill him, and I might let you live. The shark man demanded. Nope. Where is he? Somewhere safe. With Naruto, when yanked inside a toad that dispels, one does not think to end up in a cushy hotel room. Where are we? Sakura asked after the three blinked away their surprise of being eaten. Naruto rubbed his chin and gave an eye smile. His teammates leaned in. I have no idea. Cue Sakura pummeling him. Naruto, you baka. Stop goofing around, cha. Right, Sakura-chan. An explosion sounded outside and the three had to steady themselves with chakra. Pakumi was shaking. No, Pakumi-chan, go back, alright? Naruto petted the pup on his head who gladly dispelled. Achin, Kakashi is fighting. That way, let's go. Are you insane, Sasuke? That guy looked really strong. And he was able to use a water dragon without water nearby. I need strong opponents to beat him. Sasuke clenched his fists. Naruto looked worried but gulped. Sasuke's right, we can't leave Sensei and that weird white-haired guy who summoned the toad to fight Fish Face alone. Come on, we can take him. With what? We barely know jutsu. Sakura pointed out. In response, the blonde had a wicked gleam in his eye. Now, my dear Sakura. That won't be a problem. Back with Kakashi, Jiraiya, and Kisame. Kisame was having a blast, sending out random jutsu and tearing into the two S-classers who dare keep him from his revenge. His only regret was that Itachi was too busy to be there with him. The man had suddenly run out of Pocky when they arrived in the town. With Itachi, said man was calmly eating his large hoard of Pocky at a safe distance outside town. When he and Kisame had arrived, his orange menace senses went haywire. So, like the fantastic shinobi Itachi was, he ran away in a dignified manner. I wonder what my foolish little brother is doing? I hear he got teamed up with the orange menace. Shoot. Don't worry, Sasuke, I'm coming. And thus the teen raced back to town, deciding that no matter how much he wanted to run away from Naruto on a prank war that would hopefully result in either his or Kisame's death, his brother could not get caught in the crossfires. Back to the fight. The weak are meat, the strong eat. Kisame taunted. Kakashi had a deep gash on his arm and minor chakra exhaustion. Jiraiya wouldn't let them retreat as the idiot wanted to question the man about the Akatsuki. Oh, how Kakashi was tempted to abandon his morals and run towards his students. The trio stood at a standstill on top of a now abandoned house, when Kisame was engulfed in orange smoke. Kakashi was glad his mask hid his smirk as the shark Nin coughed. The problem with shinobi honing their danger senses was that Naruto's pranks didn't seem harmful. In fact, Naruto could rig up a poison-filled trap that would make you sterile while whistling a tune. So when Naruto activated a very complex trap in the middle of battle, Kisame never saw it coming. The shark Nin set his sword on the ground like he always did and tried to wipe the vile substance off his face while trying to use chakra to move through a sticky substance that adhered his feet to the roof. Yada! What a cool sword. Can I have it? Thanks. Naruto grinned as he popped up next to Kisame and darted away with the sword. Kisame mentally smirked as he was finally free and mostly clean, knowing that his awesome partner of a sword would destroy the gaki who dare touch Samehada. Only to gape when the sword purred at the blonde and white. But give me back my sword. Kisame jumped towards the blonde even as the Sannin and Kakashi tried to get there first. A fireball from Sasuke blocked his path momentarily, and when it cleared, Itachi was in front of his target, a knocked-out Sasuke and Sakura by his feet. They were not needed in this conversation. Kisame, what are you doing attacking the Jinchuuriki before it's time? Itachi asked in a slightly annoyed tone. Kisame gulped when his partner flashed his Sharingan. That brat pranked me and stole my sword. He's gotta die. The shark Nin defended. Itachi suppressed a sigh at how complicated Naruto made things. Naruto. Itachi sighed and turned to Naruto. Said boy tilted his head. Give Kisame, my partner and very strong shinobi, back his sword and apologize. But it's mine. I stole it and it's mine, that's the rules. Naruto cried. With an eye twitch Itachi threw the boy an Ichiraka coupon, left over from the days Naruto would try to prank him in the ANBU, failed of course, and Itachi wanted him out of his hair. Give Kisame the sword and this coupon for 5 bowls is yours. Instantly the sword was back in the slack-jawed Kisame's hands and Itachi was relieved of the coupon. Let's go, Kisame. I tire of these weaklings. Wait, you're not going anywhere. Kakashi suddenly spoke after getting over his stupor. The copy-nin always took it as his duty to stop his ex-underling. Jiraiya sent a toad tongue to entrap him, laced with sedatives. Unfortunately for him, Itachi burned the tongue before it reached him as he and Kisame disappeared in a murder of crows. Ugh, am I in trouble? Naruto asked as he looked around at the wrecked town below. No, Naruto, you're not. Grab Sakura and let's go. We need to get over the border before Kumo sends an investigation team. Kakashi sighed as he picked up the Uchiha. Jiraiya was ready to speak but Kakashi silenced him with a glare that reeked of, don't waste our time, we have to hightail it out of here. Iraya then gave a goofy grin and proceeded to still talk. I need to talk to Sensei anyways, I'll go with you back to Konoha. Who are you? Naruto squinted his eyes suspiciously. Who am I? Well, let me tell you. I felt crazy chakra that went kaboom. And now I'm here as your doom. Fool, you fool. Cut the Sannin off before he could begin. Landing nearby was someone nobody wished to meet in battle. Kurabi Killer Bee, of Kumo, the Hachibi Jinchuuriki. This day just got worse, hasn't it? A suddenly conscious Sasuke groaned. Kakashi was inclined to agree. Finally, on the road with Itachi and Kisame. We could have taken the brat there. Think about it, Itachi. I could have diced his legs off as punishment and then we would be done with our assignment. Kisame complained. He refused to look at his sword, who seemed to think the Gaki should become his apprentice and future wielder. Never mind, the kid had to die for their goals. Even if his chakra and spunk made Kisame wish the kid wasn't a Jinchuuriki. No, we will capture the Kyuubi Jinchuuriki when leader, Sama says it's time, no sooner. It would not do to tip off Konoha, more than I already have, before we are ready. Now come, there is a job for us. You'll like it, it has lots of fighting. Itachi dangled the temptation and his partner took it. Then what are we waiting for? Those Konoha shinobi were weak, I need a real fight. With that, 2 criminals walked into the sunset, ignoring the spike of bijou chakra in the town and various explosions. It was just another Tuesday in their profession. Naruto had the distinct feeling that he should run, especially since he could hear Kurama screaming for him to do just that. If a giant, egoistical fox demanded him turn tail and run, who was Naruto to argue? Kakashi-sensei? He muttered. Kakashi glanced at his apprentice-to-be and gave a reassuring eye smile so false even Naruto noticed. Don't ignore the killer bee, or I'll turn you into diced meat. Fool, you fool. Sorry. We're just passing through, nothing to be worried about. Kakashi tried to tell the infamous guardian of Kumo. The man, while appearing goofy, was not stupid. Sure. Then why is Mr. 9 looking mighty fine, wrecking havoc and causing a racket? Be countered. At this point Jiraiya butted in. The Akatsuki started it. The Sannin pointed out. This Akatsuki, who are they? We haven't been able to gather who they are besides the cloaks. Let us go if we tell you? Jiraiya bargained. Maybe. Tell me your information before I go all Commander Bad Butt Mation. Be reasoned. Deal. Was Jiraiya's chipper reply. Kakashi resisted a facepalm as the next 15 minutes destroyed any hint of respect in Jiraiya beyond his books. So, we told you everything about this Akatsuki. Kakashi ventured once the explanation was over and B was unusually silent. I'll let you fools go, you fools. But Kakashi cringed mentally at that last part. As number 8, I have an obligation, you see. B said, no hint of a rhyme in his stony features. An obligation? Jiraiya questioned. Yes. Mr. 9 is young but looks strong. I want a Jinchuuriki battle. Jinchuuriki versus Jinchuuriki. Finally, the 8 will overtake the 9 in time. Lightning seemed to go off in the background, something the copy-nin took a minute to admire, and Kakashi was about to protest and make a break for it with his still unconscious students and giddy-looking apprentice-to-be. Sure. I'll beat you. To first blood? He asked mischievously. Both Kakashi and Jiraiya blanched. Naruto, you're no match for him. You can't even summon its chakra. How do you expect to fight an experienced Jinchuuriki? Ma? You say something, sensei? Naruto snarked back and Kakashi was white as a sheet. His precious student was literally asking to die. Kakashi wanted to say something more but started rapping again. 1-to-1 we will fight. Count to 3 and I'll be right. I have no idea what that means but sure. Naruto said with great cheer. 1. The two said in unison. Jiraiya had a toad summoned that took Sakura and Sasuke away, still unconscious. 2. Both Jiraiya and Kakashi had jutsu formed. 3. Harem Ika Yuri Jutsu was the twin calls. Kakashi saw a heavenly sight before blood loss claimed him. Idly, he noticed Jiraiya and Killer Bee going down with him like true men. Naruto looked down at his opponent in slight disappointment. Sure, his new variation of the harem jutsu was amazing, but to see 3 very strong shinobi go down was disappointing to say the least. With a sigh, Naruto summoned a bunch of clones to help carry his sensei and weird old man to safety, sparing a glance at the other Jinchuuriki and giving the unconscious man a fist bump at Kurama's request. Meanwhile in the seal, Kurama was on the ground of his cage, laughing harder than the time Shikaku was talked into wearing a dress by a human orphan the crazy Tanuki decided to raise. Apparently Shikaku would only let the brat call him mother, as there could only be one father. Thus, the little girl made him a dress, much to the other Biju's amusement. Come to think of it, Kurama thinks that was the moment Shikaku finally snapped. Putting those thoughts aside, Kurama popped into the linked mindscape he had Naruto create with the fist bump, not that the blonde had any idea it now existed, just long enough to mock his less powerful brother about his failure of a Jinchuuriki. Maybe having this one for a host isn't so bad. He associates with those foxes, he has to die. Gore, curse you Minato and your seal. Kurama mused before finally settling down for another nap. Imaginary Madaras don't impale themselves, after all. Back outside the seal 1 hour later. The masked blonde stared at his still slightly sensei, completely ignoring the white-haired old man who asked him to use the jutsu again. Nay, Kakashi, sensei? Naruto asked after his teacher was silent following the explanation and gave his sensei a drink of water. Yes, Naruto? Any other laws of nature you wish to break? Kakashi growled. It's not that he wasn't proud of his student for beating his opponent through underhanded tactics. He was, as it was so shinobi-like it hurt Kakashi inside by its genius. It's the fact that it took him out as well. If anyone ever found out about Kakashi's defeat using a henge that wasn't even directed at him, he'd be doomed. So, how to handle this? Normally, when one did something that could potentially ruin Kakashi's hip and cool pervert vibe, a Chidori to the chest was a brilliant method to deal with the problem. But doing that to his future apprentice and village Jinchuuriki, not to mention his sensei's kid, was unethical. Ethics meant nothing to a shinobi, but appearances were important and killing his student was a no-go. But the boy still blabbed. A lot. He'd no doubt try to tell his teammates or worse the Hokage and Kakashi's reputation would be shot. So, sensei, what you going to give me not to tell anyone that you fell to my best jutsu? Naruto asked with a sheet-eating grin. That made Kakashi pale. The brat knew his sensei's predicament and was using their tactics lessons to capitalize on it for his own betterment. Kakashi Hatake was a proud father in that moment. Don't tell anyone and I'll teach you. Nope. Naruto cut him off. A shiver went down Kakashi's spine. You see, there's a certain book series I've been reading. Sakura-chan mentioned there's a super expensive platinum edition of a certain Ika tactic series. The same edition I saw at your apartment last week when we were learning more mask jutsu. No! Kakashi screamed. However, Naruto's hidden grin grew manic. Oh yes, I want them. All of them. Otherwise I'm showing this picture to the entire village. Oh, and I have a spare copy hidden so no stealing. A picture was flashed to the copy Nin, of his knocked-out form with 4 Yuri Naruto clones around him naked. The Jonin had no idea when the boy took them but he was demon proud of his blackmail material. Even if said blackmail material would have every kunoichi after him. Not to mention Irika. Kakashi learned the hard way that anything involving Naruto made the man Kage level, and seeing Kakashi passed out with naked female versions of his student would no doubt make the Chunin think he was a creep. So, Kakashi did the only thing he could. Jiraiya, Sama here is the author of God's Gift to Men. Give me all the copies of that picture, take a vow of silence, and I'll make him give you 2 copies of the silver edition. Kakashi bargained. Deal, was the exuberant agreement. While the boy celebrated, Kakashi held a conversation via hands with Jiraiya, who had been silent in favor of observing his godson. Do it, and don't try to steal him. Kakashi signed in warning. But, afraid he'll like me more? Jiraiya bit back. The masked Jonin pushed down that very fear. No. But he's not ready for you. I'm his godfather. Jiraiya's hands moved in a blur, flustered. Who he doesn't know. I'm his sensei. Hey, whatcha doing? Naruto butted in before Kakashi and Jiraiya could come to blows. Nothing. Introduce yourself to Jiraiya, Sama. Before Naruto could speak, Jiraiya launched into a boisterous rendition of his normal introduction. By the end of it, the blonde genin was less than impressed. Pervy sage, was his immediate response. Kakashi grinned and I smiled at the slack-jawed white-haired literary genius. Naruto, no need to be so technical. Well, Jiraiya, Sama, we must be going. Konoha needs us back and all, just send those books through the mail. Johnny. Kakashi used a shunshin to take them away before the apprentice-stealing bastard got over his shock. In Fire Country. Later, Naruto looked at his sensei in confusion while they hopped swiftly through the trees. Kakashi, sensei? He asked. Kakashi didn't glance up from his orange book. You say something? Why do I feel like we forgot something? That stopped the copy Nin. Sheet, Sama's going to kill me. Why? We left Sasuke and Sakura. We're screwed. Naruto said eloquently. His sensei's white complexion was the only verification he needed. 1 week later, Konoha, after turning around and running into an extremely irate Sakura and Sasuke escorted by a terrified Jiraiya, the man flinched every time Sakura smiled, worrying Kakashi to no end. Team 7+ pervert made it back to the village in one piece. It was a time of great tribulations, where every moment Kakashi had to defend his mini-me project. No way was he letting Naruto become anything less than a hip and cool shinobi. If he had to see Jiraiya attempt to coax Naruto into signing the Toad contract one more time, the copy Nin would destroy the scroll. Now Kakashi was free, well as free as one could be when under the Hokage's gleeful gaze when Naruto reported in their private report, read, no Anbu or the other genin, about his new jutsu. To Kakashi's astonishment, his leader gave the boy a ramen coupon, had him add it to the forbidden scroll, and sent him on his way with the promise not to tell anyone else. After that, Jiraiya finished his report and left abruptly for research. At that point it was just the Hokage and Kakashi, who would never admit the man made him want to pee his pants. Now that we have that whole mess cleaned up, mind telling me why you tried to bribe my surrogate grandson to lie in his mission report? The amused yet steely gaze somehow was more terrifying than the QB. Oh. As I thought. Now, a suitable punishment, besides the one of being added to the long list of Naruto's victims. Kakashi felt, in that moment, that maybe a nuke Nin life would be worth it. After all, what his leader said he would be doing for the next week was a fate worse than death. That's when it hit him. Naruto planned it all. He was sure of it. The boy got his payment already for the pictures and then sold him out to the Hokage for ramen. If Kakashi wasn't the victim, he would be so proud. With Naruto at the ramen stand? Meanwhile, Naruto Uzumaki had the distinct feeling that he was being praised for something he didn't do. And his, I forgot something important, senses were tingling. It took another 5 bowls of ramen before he finally remembered. I wasn't supposed to mention my new jutsu in the report, was I? Oh well, Hokage won't punish Kakashi, sensei, he's too nice. With that, the clueless genin resumed his gorge. Konoha Shinobi Academy. Kakashi Hatake, killer of hundreds and dashingly handsome hero to his village, finally knew the true meaning of pain. No, it wasn't seeing his father commit seppuku to redeem the Hatake honor. No, it wasn't seeing his teammates die one by one, leaving his only friend a glorified stalker just wanting to beat him. And no, it wasn't even the various grave wounds he incurred across his illustrious career. It was teaching flower arranging to aspiring kunoichi ages 5 to 10. Kakashi-sensei, do you like my arrangement? I made it for you. Momo, an adorable child, asked with a sweet smile. The jonin was about to return an ice smile as a thank you and send her off to make more like the other brats. Until he looked at the arrangement and what the flowers meant. Anger. Resentment. Promises to hire someone, take care of, the one gifted within 7 days. In other words, a hit was put on him. But it's fine, right? Not like 6-year-olds could do much damage. That's what he assured himself with, even as his mind flashed to his own 6-year-old self who completed 15 assassinations. His most famous at the time was stabbing a Kumo jonin in the eye while the man slept, bypassing security. Yeah, he's definitely upping his security seals, and surviving off prepackaged food. Worst part? Little Momo-chan bounded off so happy he couldn't bring himself to falter. Perhaps she was being manipulated. Irika certainly had enough motive to have him taken out. Sensei, how do I get the lightning to go all over again? A high-pitched voice whined as chakra burst behind him. Ah yes, his adorable apprentice learning how to use child Kakashi's favorite jutsu, electromagnetic murder. A great way to stun or kill your opponent, but requires the ability to evenly disperse lightning chakra. Something his student was struggling with. It was day 2 of his hell, and 5 more days of watching these brats would kill him. He had barely a week before the exams, and somehow he was supposed to get Naruto ready for the test. And his other students, but they were content with clones and Pakken. He was about to answer when his shinobi senses kicked in and Kakashi jumped into the nearest tree, avoiding the onslaught of tiny hands holding a variety of arrangements. The monsters didn't know tree walking, so he was safe. But them staring at his masked face made Kakashi shiver. What? Must every kunoichi be so terrifying? Sensei, this is for you. Mine's the best. No, mine is, back off, bubble face. Bubble face? Well, at least my legs aren't thunder thighs. Why you dash? It appeared the 4th war was about to start around his tree, and Kakashi had to stop it. Curse the Hokage and his devious mind for punishment. Naruto, take the brats, students, to the south field for, arranging a love bouquet. Yes, they could go bother his apprentice-to-be and 2 other students, and let the jonin get quality reading time. Naruto looked up from his exercise confusedly. What? But Hokage Gigi said you're supposed to teach them, not me. Do it and we'll learn tracking techniques with Pakumi. And instantly 20 clones were made to cart off the she-devils in training, despite their protests. Peace and quiet. Maybe I can survive like this for the next 5 days. Oh, how his words came back to bite him. South Field with no. When Naruto and clones dropped the children on the grass, protests started to rise. The blonde looked everywhere for his teammates, but they seemed to have disappeared, leaving him alone with children. And of course Sasuke had burned all the grass, not to mention flowers, in the field. Meaning the lesson was pointless. If only he could just show the girls some jutsu or play ninja tag like with the Kanomaru Corps. Maybe he could get these kids to call him boss, too? So flower arranging sounds stupid, he proclaimed boldly. Instantly protests arose. No, you're stupid. Yeah, why does Kanomaru-kun think you're so amazing? You can't even do that lightning jutsu, and my mommy says that jutsu is easy. Moegi-chan is stupid thinking you're so great. And where's the flowers? Hey! Shut up! Naruto shouted, losing his cool. Silence filled the air. That's better. Instead of flower stuff, we're doing. Here Naruto trailed off, noticing that none of them had their kunai pouches and the only jutsu they knew was the clone jutsu, something he wasn't going to help with. Naruto let his eyes wander, grinning when his eyes met the tree line. Tree climbing. But we know how to climb trees. A girl Naruto remembered as Momo hesitantly stated. But can you do this? and up Naruto ran the nearest tree without hands. 10 pairs of eyes widened with stars as he jumped back down. Oh, we could reach Kakashi-sensei this way. The only Akimichi girl shouted. Yeah. And then confess our love. A civilian kunoichi cooed. No, he's mine. The Yamanake retorted. A 10-way glaring contest that was freaking Naruto out ensued before they turned on him. Teach us. They monotone. Ugh. Now the genin was regretting his decision. And then we lift our paws in the air and give blessings to our great Kurama-sama. Kuro chanted. The fox summons sat in the middle of a circle, the kunoichi around him. Oh Kurama, they chanted back. Yes, don't be afraid to raise your voices. Kuro encouraged. Oh Kurama-sama. The chants continued. Naruto sat on a nearby branch, attempting to read, but the chanting gave him the heebie-jeebies. He could feel his bijou shooting out wishes for death upon the fox, but at the same time the blonde couldn't help it. He found it adorable. After watching every girl get to the top of the tree within an hour, Naruto learned one important fact. Never underestimate a kunoichi with a crush. The whole time they were fantasizing about his sensei saying they were the best and accepting their flowers. It reminded him of his dear Sakura-chan with Sasuke, only more innocent and no desires for marriage. But soon they all had it down, making the Jinchuuriki equal parts nervous and jealous. They still had 2 hours before the class ended and Naruto wasn't about to test his sensei's patience by bringing the girls back. So, he called for backup. But tiny girls with puppies resulted in the traders abandoning him in the first 5 minutes. Thankfully, Kuro was more than happy to help. If only the fox wasn't teaching them to worship his bijou, not that they know it. The summoned creature kept what, Kurama-sama, was a secret. Repeat after me. Kurama-sama, we thank you for your bountiful favor. Kurama-sama, we thank you for your bountiful favor. The girls shouted back. Oh Kurama-sama, our lives are thanks to you. Oh Kurama-sama, our lives are thanks to you. When our hearts feel your claws impaling us, when your teeth bite our heads off, we know it's because we have truly earned your blessings. Now that was just disturbing in Naruto's mind, but the kids still went on. When our hearts feel your claws impaling us, when your teeth bite our heads off, we know it's because we have truly earned your blessings. All the genin could do was pray to Kurama-sama, since he seems to be a godlike figure. That none of the girls tell their parents about this. Soon, it was time to go, and Naruto used his brain for the first time to ensure he wasn't subjected to interrogation for attempting a coup. Nothing was supposed to be above the Hokage, not even Kurama-sama, after all. The Kurama fan club is super top secret. Don't tell anyone or you'll panic-filled him, but Kuro saved him. You'll lose Kurama-sama's favor. The ambassador to our idol has spoken, vows of silence must be taken. Thank all that is Ika in this world that his summon seemed to think he was to be listened to and saved the day. Okay Naruto-sama. They caressed. That's boss to you. He cackled and gave an eye smile. Back with Kakashi. Kakashi sighed contently. The sun was starting to set, his clones popped after his 2 non-apprentice genin learned their assigned parts, and no academy brats had bothered him. Hey sensei. A chirp behind jolted the jonin from his lazy reading. Gulping, Kakashi turned his head to see Momo smiling at him. I and the tree. With all 10 girls at various levels, some hanging upside down by chakra. Naruto was giving him a sheepish eye smile with a snickering Kuro team on his shoulder. Nah, are you too? He growled. His soon-to-be-dead future apprentice gulped. Masai, you say something sensei? Girls, you may leave. Me and my adorable student need to have a talk about what is appropriate babysitting behavior. And instantly Kakashi had used Shunshin on the pair, stopping when they reached Training Ground 7. Shrieks filled the evening air. Meanwhile, on the road to Konoha, a certain red-headed psycho could be seen walking towards his target, bloodlust making his team queasy. All but the boy wished to turn back, but they couldn't. Suna had to pass the exams, to destroy the leaf once and for all. Mother, soon you will have blood. Gaara rasped. And finally, with Danzo. Please don't make me do this again, Danzo-kun. You know how I hate punishing you. Irika chided in the dark of T&I. You'll never make me talk, boy. You hear me, Sarutobi. I will fix Konoha from the shadows. I did what I had to. The roots will cleanse the tree. A one-armed Danzo was so done with this sheet. Stuck in here for days, all because Hiruzen couldn't handle him doing the best thing for Konoha. Heh, guess I have no choice. You brought this on yourself. If you just tell us how to deactivate the curse seals we could talk. Help us help you. Never. Danzo sneered. He resisted an eye roll as the upstart Ibikifu was clearly better at interrogation, came in once more. He just had to bide his time until the roots not captured freed him. Then he could make Konoha in his image. Team 7 was not an ordinary squad, not by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, in Tenzo's expert and most humble opinion, Konoha's Genin Squad 7 was the oddest bunch of lunatics he had the displeasure of observing, sanctioned stalking. First, there was their sensei, a man in his mid-20s who promoted pawn to preteens while teaching them to kill in unique ways. This is excluding his rather strange obsession with creating a miniature version of himself without waiting for a biological child to grow up. Kakashi Hatake was never patient enough for dating, never mind raising the perfect mini-me, causing him to break and mold a defenseless child into his image. Naruto Uzumaki is this child, or rather demon trapped inside an innocent genin's body. No, Tenzo had zero delusions that the boy was the QB just biding its time to unleash. He wasn't that stupid. But any child who willingly broke into ANBU headquarters at 5 and painted Tenzo's mask bright orange right before an important mission was not a human but instead a monster who takes pleasure in others' pain. Tenzo refused to admit he held a grudge, and instead would point out that Naruto's yearly doctor appointment fiasco and gaining an affinity from lighting supported his claims. Seeing the boy let a kitsune summons of all creatures lead academy students in worshipping his biju was just a bonus for his reports. The other two members of Team 7 were less obvious in their insanity but would qualify for the same cell in a mental hospital as their sensei and youngest teammate. There was Sakura Haruno, a repressed kunoichi who fought an inner battle of being a prim and proper lady in order to marry above her station versus exploring her more wild desires. Hence her voracious love of Ika and violent temper that topped most NBU women when a fool stole their chocolate during that week of the month. Finally, there was Sasuke Uchiha, the only one Tenzo felt the least bit sorry for, not that it changed his assessment. The boy, excuse him, the Avenger, studied too hard in the academy on subjects he had no business studying. He graduated, was, unfortunately, put in Kakashi's care, and proceeded to stand up for his beliefs of not reading smut. Tenzo had an inkling of respect for this, until the coward gave in after one measly day of Kakashi-senpai's torture. At that moment Tenzo lost the respect, as he himself survived 5 years of it in ANBU with the man before he was dubbed a lost cause. Surely the Avenger could have lasted even a day. So to conclude, Hokage-sama, I formally request the entirety of Team 7 to be committed to the psych ward for thorough testing. Tenzo plopped down a complete 500-page packet with his observations color-coded by severity, and any broken rules and laws were properly bolded with an accompanied picture or witness testimony. Tenzo was quite proud of his work, if only his squad would stop sending him odd looks at squad dinners. Denied. The Hokage replied in a bored tone and set all of Tenzo's hopes and dreams on fire. Hokage-sama, I beg of you. The ANBU captain tried to beg only to be cut off by a glare. No, Tenzo, Team 7 is set to rake in millions for us through the Chunin exams. I had you watch them, yes, and I originally believed their particular brand of genius crossed into insanity. Genius. Hokage-sama, what they are a squad of geniuses, the next Sannin I'd bet. While I disapprove of some of Kakashi's unique training methods, and I would be the first to admit their mission to lightning was a political nightmare, they are technically the strongest contestants we have. Their fights will be bloody, full of sparkles, and enjoyable for the nobles. And to take Naruto's chance to have fun killing off the next generation of enemies would be cruel after he so thoughtfully gave me a reason to arrest my old rival. Hiruzen chuckled, finding his ANBU captain adorable in his ranting. His decision to allow Team 7 into the Chunin exams despite reservations were solid, and of course had nothing to do exclusive Ika merchandise being dropped off at his window last week by Pakin and rather talkative Toad. Tenzo looked at his Hokage with a mixture of fear and awe, mentally promising to up his health insurance coverage and upping his property holdings across the continent. One can never be too prepared when Konoha's copy ninja and apprentice to be were involved. Just ask Anbu agent Flamengo, who lost his entire apartment when Naruto tried to summon the QB to share his ramen 2 days ago but instead summoned 100 foxes and pack of puppies. This of course was by no means the worst incident in the Jinchuuriki's file. That particular honor involved mayonnaise, an escaped S-class criminal, and Konoha's ramen supply. I understand, Toke-sama. He finally said. His venerable leader just gave a kind smile and shooed him out. Oh, and continue to keep an eye on Kakashi, won't you? You never when he'll snap more than he already has, that it. The Hokage chuckled. As Tenzo walked down the hall, the man who survived 2 psychopaths found himself wondering if he could survive the particular psychosis known as Kakashi Hatake. Most likely not. With Irika, same time. Oh, please Irika-sama. Just teach us. Teach us your ultimate jutsu. ANBU agent Flamingo cried out in earnest. Said, Irika was just trying to grab his groceries before he spent a satisfying evening grading. You mean my water-style, water wall? Irika asked while dodging several ANBU members who continued to try and take his groceries. From him. One particular ANBU found it prudent to fan the Academy Chunin as he walked, thoroughly freaking Irika out. No! Several frantic-voiced cried. Snickers of, that's his best jutsu? Echoed, only to be silenced by an indigent snort. No, Irika-sama. While that is a most excellent jutsu, we are referring to your ultimate technique, the one that makes you god amongst men. We're talking about Academy Super Secret Jutsu, Troublemaker Tracker. With Naruto. Boss, teach us how to walk on water. Konohamaru ran into a tackle hug with Naruto, who was calmly reading the next installment in the glorious Ika series while Kakashi-sensei went to talk to a medic Nin or something. Naruto honestly couldn't find it in himself to make sense of half the stuff his sensei said, especially when he got a glint in his eye while muttering about the recovery time for eye implants. Sasuke seemed just as disturbed as he was for once. Clearly they were on their way to friendship. But I just taught you guys tree climbing, can't we just read? You, boss, we don't like your stupid books. Teach us water walking. Moegi demanded. 3 small masked faces pressed against his own, giving pleading eyes. Naruto sighed and gave a nod. Then he brightened. I'll teach you water walking, but you have to do a little something for me. He smirked, though it was hidden by his face mask. Anything. They cheered. Oh, all right. I want you. Faces pressed closer as he leaned back over the bridge, water rushing below him. Yes, boss? Udon asked. It's just a tiny thing. A thoughtful look on his face. Anything, we assure you. Moegi begged, wondering what they would have to do. Would he make them go on a secret mission? Do his paperwork? Well, if you're Suyer, just tell us. They screamed. All 3 were worried now for what he demanded. Buy me ramen, as much as I can eat. Instantly the 3 midgets understood. They would never be able to afford even a ramen snack of their boss, much less one of his binges. Of course, they had a generous benefactor who could pay up the difference so they could become epic shinobi like their boss. Sure thing, boss. Konohamaru assured. He then turned and whispered to Udon. We can sneak into Gigi's vault again, right? I think so. He always makes the passwords the Ika release dates. Udon assured. With that they set off to follow Naruto, who had taken off at an impossible pace towards his favorite place in the entire world. Ichiraku's ramen. Or, they would have, if they hadn't literally bumped into a strange shinobi within a block of the ramen stand. Well, what do we have here? Some Konoha brats who don't know respect. A cat monster with makeup chuckled darkly and lifted Konohamaru up by his scarf. Hey, put me down, you cat monster. He cried. The monster took offense to this and started growling. A girl's voice stopped the hand that rose for a smack. Kenga, put the brat down. We are guests here, don't draw suspicion. A kunoichi from the same village, Konomaru realized based on her headband, scolded. Her outfit was strange, with a giant fan on her back and hair that just screamed angry. Come on Temari, just a little lesson of a street urchin won't hurt. Nobody would him either, I bet. Konoha always did breed like rats, what's one less brat? No, now set him down before, the one known as Temari was cut off by Naruto arriving. Hey! Get away from my minions, Sune! An enraged, red-eyed Naruto stood at the end of the sidewalk, clones already ready. 3 of his summons had their teeth bared, thirsting for blood. Boss! Moments before, Naruto had reached the place that sold God's gift to mankind in a torrent of dust and shouts. Tucci had greeted him as always, and Ayam spared him a smile. Ah, young Naruto, you're back. I didn't expect you so soon, not after you and your summons paid my bills for the next year a couple of days ago. Tucci said even as he prepared his favorite customers regular. Naruto had been so kind to have his Anbu friend, Flamingo, poor sap, really, being named Flamingo of all animals, pay for him and his summons meals after poor Naruto got scooped up by his sensei for training. He did wonder why Flamingo flinched every time Tucci waved at him now. He gave good customer service, right? Ah well, you can't please everyone, he supposed. Well, my minions said they'd treat me to all I can eat if I teach them water walking, so lay them on me. The masked boy cheered. Now, here Tucci had a problem. On one hand, he knew he'd get paid one way or another. On the other hand, he wanted to see the money first, considering the source was 3 9-year-olds who liked to sneak around in square boxes. You could see his hesitance. Well no. Before that, could you maybe bring them here? I wouldn't want them to run out before paying you, you see? Naruto hummed, then gave a very Kakashi-like eye smile. I gotcha, Tucci. Where are my minions anyways? I could have sworn they were following me. With a grumbled sigh, he left his measly completed 20 bowls, intent on dragging the brats back so he could feast after his long fast of 20 hours. Summoning Jutsu. He called, summoning Pakumi, sure, Shiba's little pup, and Kuro. The 3 looked happy, though Kuro seemed miffed the puppies were called with him. Hey, what's the deal making me, the great Kuro-sama, work with the mutts? The fox whined. Pakumi took offense and yipped as she liked her master's hand. Kuro-sama, be nice. Pakumi-chan and Shiba-chan need to learn how to track, and Kakashi-sensei says I should summon them constantly to do so. Naruto said obliviously, completely missing the fact Kakashi wanted him to bond to the pack and forget the foxes, something Kurama wanted to, not that Naruto would notice. Now, we need to find my minions. Pakumi, sure, Kuro's track. The 3 set off at the command, their contract masking their hatred for one another momentarily. They each stiffened at the smells of fear coming from Naruto's minions, and ran faster. Naruto kept along at their pace while his confusion at the urgency caused him to summon clones. Kakashi-sensei always said to flood your enemies and slaughter them mercilessly before asking questions. After all, what Naruto saw as he turned a corner chilled his blood to ice. Hey! Get away from my minions, Sune! An enraged, red-eyed Naruto stood at the end of the sidewalk, clones already ready with kunai. His summons had their teeth bared, thirsting for. But, boss! The 3 shouted in relief. How Naruto wanted to kill the cat monster, who threatened his minions, but the guy dropped Konohamaru in fear, letting them dart behind him. And now hold on. We didn't know they were one of yours, okay? Let's just talk this out, our villages are allies, right? The girl who Naruto thought had too much hair tried to reason. Briefly, the Jinchuuriki felt pride at how much he scared them, but the fact that his minions were halted in their mission to feed him a buffet stopped the feeling. Yeah, allies. The male said, or at least Naruto thought it was a male. Boss, he grabbed me after I bumped into him, I apologized too. Konohamaru promised. The girl is Temari, and I think the guy's name is Cat Monster. Naruto gave a soft eye smile and gave a thumbs up. Don't worry, Kono, I've got this. The masked genin turned towards his enemy. We're not allies, not when you hurt the Hokage's grandson, Cat Monster. He replied petulantly to the Sunanin. Cue the indigent squawk from said monster. Why you that's it? You're not going to use crow, are you? Temari warned. He didn't reply, instead letting the bandages unravel much to Naruto's confusion. Kuro, run and get Kakashi-sensei, he ordered, and the fox looked indignant. Kuro opened his mouth to argue but was stopped by the arrival of a swirl of sand that morphed into another male. Kankuro, Temari. A monotoned voice came from the boy, his hair blood red, smell matching. Pakumi and Shur quaked so hard they left for home, not that Naruto could blame them. The new guy made even Kurama quiver. But I am not quivering. I am preparing to rip my crybaby little brother into 1,000 pieces. Let me out. Shikaku! Kurama protested in a scream, making Naruto wince. Shikaku? Who's that? Only the most insufferable weakling. He's what you call the Ichibi, and I only find your demon foxes more insufferable. Naruto decided that before his furry friend let another rant loose, he'd try a Kakashi-sensei method of stopping it. Ma, you say something? He mentally smiled. That's it fleshbag. Get the hell in here and die like the worthless human you are. When I'm finished, the blonde cut off the link hastily and focused on the conversation. Gaara? Hey, nice day we're having, huh? The newly named Kankuro greeted. Kenko, shut up before I kill you. There was that monotoned voice again. Alright. Mother wants you dead. Gaara said aloud. Naruto stared back before deciding the guy needed a hobby. Your mother can't have my blood, but I could let her have an Ika book? Naruto offered, missing the face palm his minions and the other Sunanin gave. Well, we're gonna go now, boss. Moegi stuttered out, not wanting to see her boss killed. Dragging along her friends, Moegi ran with the intention of finding help. She just hoped Naruto lasted long enough for said help to survive. Naruto didn't look at their departure, now intrigued. He pressed on, letting his face lose the demonic chakra. In fact, here's a copy for you too, my gift. After all, Kurama says you have the Ichibi, right? Well then, we're family since I hold the Kyuubi, and family sticks together. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, future Hokage. Naruto said bluntly and held out a book. Gaara and the siblings looked on in shock, though for different reasons. What's your name again? Temari and Kankuro were shocked that they actually ran into Konoha's Jinchuuriki, and that the supposedly strongest of the 9 was not insane like their baby brother. Kankuro vowed to stay away from the little psycho, because anyone willing to talk to Gaara was a few screws loose, while Temari wanted desperately to interrogate everyone on where Suna went wrong to not get a Jinchuuriki like Naruto Uzumaki. Gaara, on the other hand, had never had a gift really, especially not one given with a happy aura. He watched the book carefully, as if ready for gas or explosions to go off. It never did, to his hidden surprise. What confused him more was how happy this boy, this supposed carrier of the Kyuubi, was compared to him. Why did Gaara not get this happiness? He had to know, and killing the boy, this Naruto Uzumaki, as he introduced himself, would not give him answers. Yet, I am Gaara, he said tonelessly. Naruto pet his head to the side, wondering if the boy would take his gift. Well then, Gaara, don't you want the book? It's the best, yada, I mean mama. A sand trickle cautiously grabbed the offending item. Ika. The Suna Jinchuuriki sounded out. Something in the universe clicked as he, or rather, his sand, opened the novel, reading the first page. For no longer was Shikaku and him fighting for control. For once they both agreed, they must finish this story. Kankuro and Temari felt an odd sense of dread mixed with relief. Naruto just continued his novel where he left off. Later, that evening, Ma, my cute little apprentice-to-be. Don't you want to be just like me? Besides, eye surgery barely hurts. Kakashi half pleaded, half ordered. He pulled his future apprentice, trying to dislodge the boy from his doorway. No. No hospitals. You'll never take me alive. The blonde Jinchuuriki screamed before squirming away and running faster than most jonin. I've taught him too well, Kakashi thought in pride before remembering that stage 3 of his mini-me plan had to be implemented and let the hunt begin for his ungrateful apprentice-to-be. Who didn't want to have eye surgery to get Shursui Uchiha's old eye, and thus becoming Copy Ninja Jr.? My cute little apprentice-to-be. Don't you want to be just like me? Besides, eye surgery barely hurts. Kakashi half pleaded, half ordered. He pulled his future apprentice, trying to dislodge the boy from his doorway. No. No hospitals. You'll never take me alive. The blonde Jinchuuriki screamed before squirming away and running faster than most jonin. I've taught him too well, Kakashi thought in pride before remembering that stage 3 of his mini-me plan had to be implemented and let the hunt begin for his ungrateful apprentice-to-be. Who didn't want to have eye surgery to get Shursui Uchiha's old eye, and thus becoming Copy Ninja Jr.? With Naruto, somewhere in the village. Naruto Uzumaki was what one would call a selective genius. No, he couldn't do complicated shuriken mathematics, nor could he recite shinobi law. His strengths lied elsewhere. When the situation called for it, Naruto was able to outsmart the geniuses of old, proving that book smart didn't always mean victory. Especially when the topic in question was evasion to save one's own life. In that topic, Naruto Uzumaki, insane blonde Jinchuuriki and apprentice-to-be, of Kakashi Hatake, excelled like none other. You'll never catch me alive, Kakashi-sensei, said insane blonde shinobi bellowed while roof-hopping. Just stop running, Naruto, you know I'll get you eventually. Don't you want to be just like me? I could even teach you the Chidori for the exams. It's just one night in the hospital, nothing bad. Kakashi called out sweetly. Naruto paled and dodged another round of shuriken laced with sedatives mid-jump and summoned his best friend at the moment. Kuro, I choose you. The black fox appeared in a huff. I told you, it's Kuro-sama and I chose you. You may contain the great Kurama-sama, but I'm ahead of you in the fan club, the fox summons griped even as he called for the Kurama-sama protection squad. These elite fighters had been assembling for centuries to protect their lord and master, and now were expected to ensure the vessel of their lord was protected at all cost, even when the one attacking was an insane Kakashi Hatake and his Nin Ken. Ehehe, sorry Kuro-sama, but this isn't really the time. Kakashi-sensei went insane and now wants me to go to the hospital. Naruto cried and jumped over a civilian food cart, not looking back when it crashes to pieces. Am I cabbages? Was heard across the village of Konoha that day, full of grief and anger. Fine. Kurama-sama protection squad, unite. Kuro ordered, and 5 beefy foxes of unusual sizes created a barrier between Naruto and the psychotic Kakashi. Summoning jutsu. Kakashi shouted out, his Nin Ken tackling the foxes. The larger beings grunted and snarled, throwing the mutts off them. Jutsu flied, Naruto cried, and some roofs caved in. All in all, Konoha was becoming a war zone. Before 5 minutes passed, every summon animal was dispelled and Kakashi needed a chakra pill. Soon the ANBU would get involved, and that was something Kakashi couldn't allow. Well, it was more like he couldn't let the goody two-shoes Tenzo get involved. His former Kohai would go on and about the ethics of forced body modification on a 12-year-old. But they're shinobi who needed pesky things like ethics or morals. Nobody, that's who. At least in Kakashi's not-so-humble opinion, and thus the only opinion that mattered in this case. Besides, the Hokage signed off on it and that was good enough for him. Electromagnetic murder. Naruto called out, aiming the shockwaves at the ground covered in fresh puddles, effective, but Kakashi could see through his cute little apprentice to be in a heartbeat. With a subtle genjutsu, borrowed, from a random Kiri shinobi, Kakashi guided his apprentice to the training grounds where he unleashed his secret weapon, ramen. While he was not a rich man, per se, the genius inside Kakashi saw the, genius in having an emergency supply of ramen laced in sedatives for when Naruto resisted his plans for the perfect mini-me transformation. He had suspected he'd need it when he drafted Naruto into the ANBU after becoming a jonin so that he could have a tattoo like his sensei, not for something as simple as an eye upgrade. Honestly, teenagers these days. However, he unsealed the storage scroll with the ramen containing enough sedatives to take down 5 elephants. Naruto would be out a good day at least, just enough time for the operation. "Oh, Naruto," Kakashi sang. "I'm sorry for wanting to take you to the hospital. I mean the bad place," he corrected when his apprentice flinched. "How about some ramen to make up for it?" Here Kakashi held out the bowl and the genjutsu-addled genin ripped it out of his hands. Yet another reason the jonin wanted his apprentice to be to get the eye. It would enable the boy to see through and knock away genjutsu like the one he just fell prey to. While only AC rank, the suggestive type genjutsu Kakashi just used made the user easier to manipulate and took away their sense of survival, something shinobi needed. So, as he watched his sensei's son and Minimi sway and fall into his waiting arms asleep, Kakashi Hatake took comfort in his own deluded rationalization that in the end Naruto would thank him, right? One day later, Konoha Hospital. When arriving with a drugged-up Jinchuuriki for a major surgery no longer made the medic needs bat an eye, that's when Kakashi was sure they needed some serious vacation time with a therapist. Now, after a successful surgery, Kakashi only had to subdue the enraged Kurama trying to leak chakra 5 times. Naruto lay bandaged and sleeping peacefully. It was so adorable, the left eye now being just like his own, minus the scar for now. Kakashi looked at his apprentice to be in pride, knowing he just had a few more steps before he outdid Guy in all aspects and ensured the way of hip and cool survived his name joining the memorial stone. If only his apprentice would wake up. The exam started in 2 hours and they were the one event the Hokage would not tolerate Naruto being late for. If the genin stayed asleep much longer Kakashi would have to cover for him, and if there was one man Kakashi dreaded being in the same room with, it was Ibiki Marino. The man was a SDST and the first proctor. So Naruto had to wake up. "Ah, Hatake-san? Would you mind filling out some forms?" "Just the standard S-class secret acquired from forms, and we'll go over aftercare for Naruto-kun," a rather chipper nurse spoke from the doorway. Kakashi gave her an eye smile but kept reading. "Ma, I'm sure the forms can be done later, and I've had an eye transplant before, they're not difficult to recover from," he replied nonchalant. The nurse took offense to his response and the room became colder than the land of snow. "You, Kakashi Hatake, got your eye in the middle of war, and still have problems with chakra drain because of the way it was put in and your misuse of it. Now you will come fill out these forms and listen for once in your demon life or I will rip that eye out of your head and replant it without sedatives." Clear? The nurse glowered. Ah yes, she was the one often tasked with dragging him to the operating room when he justifiably tried to leave. Best not anger a kunoichi capable of dragging you by the ear despite being weaker and shorter than most genin. "Emasai, yes ma'am," he said and left to do the responsible thing. Too bad Naruto chose to burn through the rest of the sedatives in his system and wake up right then. Konoha's Chunin exams would never be the same again. With Naruto, waking up was never one of Naruto's strengths, especially when the genjutsu he was subjected to, not that he knew, made everything fuzzy. But one thing that Naruto could always tell was when he was in the hell known as the hospital. What am I doing here? Gotta get out before the demons find me. No shots, not today, not for the future Hokage. Naruto babbled on while tearing off every scrap of bandage, including the mass around his left eye. He grabbed the various gear and clothing items, throwing them on haphazardly and bolting out the window, idly wondering why he could see so much better. He'd ask Sensei when he saw him before the test. No doubt his team was waiting for him. Inside the seal. "Demon you Kakashi, and you Minato for sealing me in this brat." Kurama raged. He couldn't believe it. His container, a holder of the Sharingan. He had celebrated the demise of that horrid clan, and was happy they weren't around. Thank you very much. But now his pathetic vessel had the means to subdue him, Kurama the Great. What's next? Chakra chains. Kurama shuddered at his dark mind and drifted off to that nightmare. Konoha's Shinobi Academy. Sakura and Sasuke looked at their bumbling idiot of a teammate from behind Ika, horrified. Sakura was ready to barf, wondering how the heck Naruto was related to Sasuke enough to get the Sharingan. Only Uchiha's and Kakashi-sensei could use it, and there's no way Naruto had some Uchiha give him their eye, right? The way it only opened in one eye fully formed was disconcerting, but Sakura planned to research the hell out of it. Sasuke dropped his book and stared, dumbstruck. Hey guys, what's wrong? We still have half an hour, I'm not late. The blonde rubbed his head awkwardly, blinking the bright sun away. Naruto, what the hell did you do? He growled. What do you mean? He asked innocently. Cue the twin face palms. Your eye, Narutobaka, how did you awaken the Sharingan? Sakura demanded. Naruto stared in confusion. I don't have a Sharingan. Quit denying it, it's stuck inside your head glaring at me. Sasuke retorted. Sakura sighed, sensing an argument. The sun hung high, signifying they barely had enough time to get to the room, and she desperately wanted to become a Chunin and get away from Kakashi-sensei. Here, look. She brought out a mirror, letting Naruto stare blankly into it. Mentally she counted. 1, 2, 3. What the hell happened to my awesome eye? I can't have a Sharingan. Ibiki Marino felt a shiver run down his spine as he practiced his evil smirk number 2 in the staff room's mirror. Sakura and Sasuke looked at their bumbling idiot of a teammate from behind Ika, horrified. Sakura was ready to barf, wondering how the heck Naruto was related to Sasuke enough to get the Sharingan. Only Uchihas and Kakashi-sensei could use it, and there's no way Naruto had some Uchiha give him their eye, right? The way it only opened and one eye fully formed was disconcerting, but Sakura planned to research the hell out of it. Sasuke dropped his book and stared, dumbstruck. Hey guys, what's wrong? We still have half an hour, I'm not late. The blonde rubbed his head awkwardly, blinking the bright sun away. Naruto, what the hell did you do? He growled. What do you mean? He asked innocently. Cue the twin face palms. Your eye, Narutobaka, how did you awaken the Sharingan? Sakura demanded. Naruto stared in confusion. I don't have a Sharingan. Quit denying it, it's stuck inside your head glaring at me. Sasuke retorted. Sakura sighed, sensing an argument. The sun hung high, signifying they barely had enough time to get to the room, and she desperately wanted to become a Chunin and get away from Kakashi-sensei. Here, look. She brought out a mirror, letting Naruto stare blankly into it. Mentally she counted. 1, 2, 3. What the hell happened to my awesome eye? I can't have a Sharingan. Ibiki Marino felt a shiver run down his spine as he practiced his evil smirk number 2 in the staff room's mirror. Onto the show. With Naruto. Naruto began hyperventilating. The rhythmic beating of his heart became more pronounced as he took in his reflection. His gorgeous baby blue eye had vanished, only to be replaced by the piercing crimson of a Sharingan. Gone were his plans to woo Sakura with his once striking blue eyes. He had wanted to surpass Sasuke in his own way, not copy his traits. The thunderous wail of his heart was quickly overpowering his common sense. No. He could not let this continue. Take it out. Kurama's voice jolted him out of his stupor. Use your human fake teeth of metal and take the DMNI out. Now. Naruto was confused. How fuzzball? What are fake teeth of metal? He thought. It's Kurama-sama to you, brat, Kurama said. And I had meant those weapon things. Naruto's eyes visibly widened in understanding. Oh, my kunai. Yes, that. Use that and scoop the cursed eye out. Hell no, that sounds painful. Naruto yelped mentally. The very idea, he shuddered. Kakashi-sensei loved to scare him with the story of how he had lost his own eye. Naruto didn't want to go through that, not when he couldn't even remember how he had gotten it. It came from your delusional sensei, brat, Kurama deadpanned. You don't want to be like the Uchiha brat, do you? Well then, carve it out. No fear. Stop acting like a baby and act like a bijou. Besides, I'll heal it up instantly. Promise. Bijou's honor. Promise it? What Kurama failed to say was that he would be in immense pain for days. Come to think of it, Kurama was not entirely sure it was a good idea to do this when his host was going against Shikaku's host, but then again, the brat was immortal considering everything he had gone through. He'd survive, probably. With a resigned gulp, Naruto took a kunai out of his pouch and raised a shaky hand towards his face. With a deep breath, he readied himself for the pain to come. No worries, right? Kurama would heal him up and he would be able to look for his eye later. If he found out that Kakashi-sensei had done this, he would be buying Naruto 1,000 bowls of ramen. Meanwhile, in Konoha's hospital, Kakashi Hatake collapsed in relief that he was finally done with the DMN paperwork. He couldn't wait to take his cute little apprentice to his exam, and of course if he educated him about the benefits of said amazing eye there would be nothing wrong with that. Then a vision of him bankrupt and sobbing over empty ramen bowls struck him like a lightning bolt at the cliffs. It meant nothing, right? Back with Naruto. He brought the kunai up to his eye in a single smooth motion. Naruto was ready for this. Ready to be free. Just before he could commit to the action, a kick to the stomach and a hand twisting the knife out of his grasp stopped him. Yoch! He wheezed in pain. While looking up to spot his attacker, tears began to well in his eyes. Naruto saw a panicked-looking Sasuke. "You idiot!" Sasuke said. His voice dripped with pure unadulterated venom. "You do not ever treat a Sharingan with such disrespect." "But I have to get rid of it," Naruto protested. "HN. You will after the exam. At a proper hospital, quit flinching, it's just a word." Sasuke gripped his hand tighter and motioned Sakura to grab Naruto's other arm. "For now you will keep your headband over the eye so it doesn't kill you. You must protect it with your life, or I will end your miserable existence." Think clear? Sasuke looked winded at the longest sentence he had likely said since he learned to scowl, and even Sakura looked surprised at his passion. Sure Sasuke." Naruto would never admit Sasuke scared him at that moment. He focused instead on ignoring Kurama's enraged yelling about being a wimp. HN. And the old Sasuke was back. So much for communication. The trio made their way inside. When Naruto was messing with his headband, it slipped up right as they came upon the hinged Izumo and Kotetsu. He blinked in surprise and shrugged. "Hey Izumo, Kotetsu," Naruto called out. Their jaws dropped at the sight of the infamous Orange Menace, with a Sharingan. "You're on the wrong floor. We need to go to floor 3, remember? Are you guys trying to take the exam again?" Naruto ignored the mass of now grumbling genin and his teammates, continuing up. "Shoot, Ibiki's gonna kill us," Kotetsu said. Izumo gulped loudly. "We were supposed to keep these losers away from the test, so he wasn't surrounded by maggots." They could only look on as the genin teams trailed behind Team 7, the most infamous team in Konoha at this point, to their rather violent boss. "Maybe he won't notice?" Izumo suggested. Kotetsu could only deadpan at his best friend as if he was a delusional maniac. With a sigh, he used a shunshin to take them to the proctor room, knowing it could be their last day on the planet. Outside testing room. "Didn't Kakashi-sensei say he would be here to send us in?" Naruto asked. Sasuke sighed, Sakura following. They had hidden in the hallway while they watched other genin rush to the entrance of the exam room. Sakura insisted they let the cannon fodder take any traps, and successfully avoided Naruto's so-called eternal rival. Finally, they reached the door only to find no sign of their sensei. They were at the door with no sign of their sensei. "Great, he's late for his own team's test," Sakura said. She was less than impressed with her sensei already. At this point, though, she just needed to make Chunin and transfer to a new squad with Sasuke. My cute little genin. Have you little faith in your sensei? Speak of the devil and he shall appear in a slouch." "None at all," Sakura deadpanned. "HN. Sasuke said. It translated roughly to, "No way in hell." "Of course, sensei." "And then there's Naruto. After you buy me ramen for the stupid eye that is." There were his shinobi tactics. Naruto mentally high-fived himself for that one. Kakashi looked heartbroken that his genin were so cold. "And Naruto, you wounded me, my apprentice-to-be, and technically other genin. Aren't you liking your new weapon of death?" Kakashi asked. He couldn't let his project fail now. The Hokage was eager to see how Naruto performed with the eye. Naruto squinted his eyes at his sensei and then huffed as Sasuke pulled his headband over it. "Keep it covered, Ichin. People steal Uchiha eyes." "Sasuke is right. Only uncover it if you need to, and watch the chakra flow," Kakashi added. He then proceeded to look at the window and magically deduced the time. Long story short, his genin were about to be late. Ma, look at the time. Okay, remember to only kill non-Konoha contestants and to make chunin. Do it and you each get an advance copy for the newest Ika Tactics series first book. The bribery worked as the three genin were experiencing varying degrees of excitement. Even with the mask, Kakashi noticed Naruto was the most obviously happy. Kakashi mentally promised himself that during the month before finals he would snuff out everything uncool and unhip about his apprentice. The three genin, his genin, he reminded himself in pride, strode into the room as if they owned the place. Kakashi could not be prouder if he tried. Well, he would be prouder when Naruto took his first assassination mission and made ANBU, but those were long-term goals. For now, he was proud. Time for Ichi Ika, Kakashi, you deserve it. Inside the testing room. Stepping inside the testing room with all the killing intent took the entire Team 7 back to the many times when Kakashi hit them with his own killer intent at random times, training, missions, the hot springs, though that one left Kakashi in the hospital when the Kunoichi felt his killing intent from over the wall and got annoyed. However, the current level was their sensei on a good day, and thus could not faze them in the slightest. Sasuke and Sakura did the smart thing and casually pulled out Ika in hopes of drowning the masses out. Guys, think Kakashi-sensei would train them to use killing intent better? They're kinda weak. Naruto said. He gave a closed-eye smile, missing Sasuke and Sakura gulp knowing that everyone heard them and would now be out for their heads. Even the other Konoha genin were slightly red with bloodlust. Oh, a little Konoha baby trying to sound tough? A mass of bandages was in Naruto's space. He blinked as his single eye met another single eye. The shinobi had an unfamiliar headband with a music note. But his aura was darker than Naruto expected to feel. But he wasn't Kakashi Hataki's personal student for nothing. Get out of my face, Ma. He said, remembering to become more relaxed sounding towards the end. My team is going to squash yours. The foreign shinobi looked ready for a fight, but a large pop in the back of the room stopped a bloodbath. Silence, you maggots! A harsh voice echoed in the suddenly silent room. Surrounded by dozens of chunin in gray uniforms, including a nervous-looking Izumo and Kotetsu, was a man Kakashi had warned his team about several times over the past couple of months in a subtle manner. Ibiki Marino, SDST extraordinaire. Naruto's eyes widened in fear. The glare directed at him was enough to curdle milk. With Ibiki, having his pre-exam scowling practice interrupted by the idiot duo pushed upon him by the Hokage had put the head of the torture department in a bad mood. Listening to them babble about Kakashi's little psycho squad messing up Ibiki's ingenious plan to sift the weaklings who could not possibly pass for genin, much less chunin, made his blood pressure rise. To then hear that Kakashi's supposed future apprentice, a fact that made Ibiki giddy with all the psychological trauma he would be able to study when the Jinchuuriki finally cracked, had a fully developed Sharingan in one eye, Ibiki paled. The implications for his sanity if this was true. But no, there's no way Hokage-sama would let Naruto Uzumaki of all genin receive one of the recovered Sharingan. Those were set to be given out to important shinobi who could keep them secret, mostly Anbu. Not genin who would probably scrape by with a pass to chunin. After all, he was the luckiest BSA Ibiki had ever had the displeasure of meeting. Ibiki Marino hated his village's Jinchuuriki. Not because of his status, Ibiki respected the brat for that and was one of the shinobi who used to donate toys and equipment when he was a small child. In fact, Ibiki used to look forward to Naruto Uzumaki joining the shinobi forces and considered becoming a jonin and sensei to him. That all changed the day 6-year-old Naruto broke into his office and stole his most precious possession, all for a bet with the Hokage. Now, Ibiki couldn't stand him, and the fact he might be given an eye capable of copying any technique, thus becoming an even greater menace, was not something Ibiki could handle. So, with the snarl he learned from his mother, Ibiki punished the chunin and started their epic entrance. He absolutely did not make his underlings practice for hours. Seeing Naruto pale at his call-out made bloody rainbows and mutilated unicorns come to Ibiki's mind. In other words, it made his day. Noticing the headband over Naruto's eye made Ibiki hold in a chuckle. Of course, Chunin would make the mistake of thinking a genin playing dress-up to look like his sensei was the same as actually having the accursed eye. Ibiki was safe. He was still king of this exam. Well, how the mighty would fall. Later, the beginning of the exam. Naruto never liked written tests. Sure, Kakashi-sensei gave him lots of help with learning now, but in the past, he was always the worst. Too many words and numbers. He was a more hands-on shinobi, thank you very much. Seeing this written exam have questions that made him feel like the stupid dead last of the academy was not how he envisioned a Chunin promotion would go. A Chunin promotion was supposed to go. And to get disqualified if he was caught cheating only 5 times? That was even worse. If only Sakura or Sasuke was next to him to help him out. Hinata was running a fever like always, trying to ask for help or something, but Naruto didn't have time for her. He had to think fast to get at least one question done. Arg, this headband itches too, he thought in annoyance. Sasuke had insisted he keep it covered, but Naruto couldn't take it. Surely lifting it up for a second wouldn't hurt, right? Just to let the eye breathe. It would be down again before anyone noticed. With that justification, Naruto lifted his beloved headband to its original position, not noticing the various proctors fixating on his position. Ah, that's much better. Now, time to ace this stupid test. As his excitement grew, Naruto didn't notice the subtle shift of his eye, activating on instinct to its new owner. Looking up, Naruto saw the proctor Ibiki glaring at him. Naruto gulped and raised a hand, letting a smile form behind his face mask in an attempt to be nice. Sakura had always told him that those friendly with the teachers got the best grades. With Ibiki, of course the brat actually got a Sharingan. Shursui Uchihas by the looks of it, the most overpowered eye Ibiki had ever seen. For most of the exam Naruto had been helplessly not writing anything. But now he looked relaxed, happy even. The fact that he had the audacity to give him a masked smile and wave meant Ibiki was challenged. The genin challenged him. Ibiki would not lose. Too bad marking off for using dojutsu was against regulations or some other political crap. But Ibiki would win, if not at disqualifying him, then at intimidation. So, Ibiki met the eyes of his enemy head-on, beginning the most important stare down in his life. A stare down that he would triumph in. Back with Naruto. Wow. This eye is kinda cool, Naruto thought as he tracked every movement in the room. Staring straight ahead, couldn't get accused of cheating after all. He was amazed at how all the pencils moved and people twitched. Things were so clear. However, the clock showing 20 minutes left was an unpleasant wake-up call. He had to hurry. Naruto's nervousness skyrocketed with each tick on the clock. He unconsciously pulsed chakra into the eye, and reality began breaking. If only the proctor would quit creeping him out by staring. With Ibiki and proctors. First there was the glare. Now a tiny black flame burst on the clock, incinerating it. Ibiki sealed it away in one of his special scrolls made for when he faced Itachi Uchiha without sparing it more than a glance. He couldn't let the genin distract him, clever as it was. Izumo yelping as his chair turned to bugs and Kotetsu attempting to inch away from a flame erupting in the air was no consequence. Naruto still refused to back down, so Ibiki wouldn't either. While he could now disqualify the brat, doing so would be a cop-out. By Ibiki's impeccable ability to tell time, they had 1 minute left. Then a timer in his pocket would go off. He could do this. That was until his bandana just turned to ash, ruining his big reveal. Naruto wasn't sure who was making the flames appear, but they had to stop. He could hardly focus. Worse was there were less than 40 teams left, and each time one left an ominous chuckle would echo throughout the room. It sounded a lot like Kurama, but Naruto wasn't sure if it actually was his furry friend. He had to concentrate, and that was impossible when random things kept happening. One thing that bugged him though, was Ibiki. Kakashi-sensei always told them he had something cool under his headband bandana, and Naruto really wanted to see it. No, gotta focus, but I gotta know, what's under his bandana? Naruto found himself staring at it in hopes it would go away so he could get his answers. To his surprise, it did. On the now exposed head was a map of scars not even a mother would find pretty. Ibiki's face was turning red. Wow, that looks painful. Naruto blurted out. He instantly regretted it as Ibiki's red face turned murderous. "What did you say?" Ibiki whispered dangerously. A timer buzzed in the background for the 10th question. Did you say something?" Naruto tried. It only seemed to make Ibiki madder. Ibiki trailed off, then smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. "All right, pencils down," he said. Pencils dropped everywhere. "It's time for the 10th question." Naruto gulped and got ready. He would win this. He stared into Ibiki's eyes again, hoping he could do this. "The 10th question is, Diamen, why can't he just pass us?" Naruto thought. "Come on, just say we pass. I gotta become a Chunin." His mental prodding was intense, and his new eye reacted. "No question. You all pass." A now expressionless Ibiki said. Naruto blinked in surprise, as did everyone else in the room. "That's the 10th question?" Sakura shouted from the back. Naruto whipped his head around to see her, another flame bursting near her hair. She shrieked, as did more genin teams. Thick blood began running down the walls while black flames started furiously crackling and slowly dripping off the ceiling. All hell was breaking loose. This was the scene Anko Mitarashi crashed into. Kurama cackled in the background, most amused for some reason. Naruto just wanted to become a Chunin already. "No question. You all pass." A now blank-eyed Ibiki said. Naruto blinked in surprise, as did everyone else in the room. "That's the 10th question?" Sakura shouted from the back. Naruto whipped his head around to see her, another flame bursting near her hair. She shrieked, as did more genin teams. Blood began running down the walls, flames dripping off the ceiling. All hell was breaking loose. This was the scene Anko Mitarashi crashed into. Kurama cackled in the background, most amused for some reason. Naruto just wanted to become a Chunin already. Chunin exam, written testing room. By the time Sasuke and Sakura had realized the chaos was caused by Naruto, of course it was, and made him cover the eye once more, the damage had already been done. Less than 30 teams agreed to move on to the second stage, especially after Anko told them they were going to the Forest of Death. The name alone caused a Suna genin to have a nervous breakdown. Naruto loudly recounting how his sensei, the Kakashi Hatake, almost died 7 times while camping in the place due to being doused in wasp spider pheromones, did little to help the teams agree to stay. Team 7 had heard this tale so many times they were desensitized. The other teams weren't, however, and many were green by the end. Naruto added the part 2 of Kakashi surviving the night sleeping in the carcass of one wasp spider so they could not sense his body heat. Anko was the only one that shared his smile after that story. Anko led the survivors to the next part of the exams, and as they trudged behind her, Team 7 was split between excitement and resignation. Naruto was excited, remembering how his sensei talked about his own Chunin exam as a battle to survive in the forest alone. Naruto vowed to be just as impressive, even if he was forced to watch over his team to help them survive. He was a good teammate and refused to leave them behind, even though he was confident he could do it all himself. During Naruto's daydreams about stopping 50 shinobi on his own with nothing but a broken kunai, and while protecting his unconscious teammates, Sasuke and Sakura held more realistic thoughts. Sakura felt dread about the forest and worried they would fail. Failure would mean another 6 months with Kakashi-sensei. 6 months with that psycho meant she would lose all remnants of sanity left in her being. That could not happen. If she had to take out Konoha shinobi to win, she would. Screw village loyalty when it led to her being under the craziest sensei ever known to genin kind. She just had to drag her teammates through the forest, pass, and request a new squad with Sasuke. Sasuke grumbled internally about the possibility of them failing whatever objective they faced. If he failed, not that he would ever fail, then he would be stuck on Team 7 with the lunatics called his teammates. Sure, they introduced him to the rather genius literary works of Jiraiya, but that wasn't enough to warrant 6 more months of their torture. Sasuke would make his team win, and request a new, sane team. Oh, and surpass his brother, of course. HN. We're here. Sasuke grunted as they came upon the ominous fence. Whispers broke out, and Sasuke knew this was where they could do some psychological damage to the enemy, competition. Books out now, he ordered. Sakura shrugged and pulled out her current volume. Soon she was absorbed, yet still listening for information like their sensei taught them. Naruto, unsurprisingly, was already reading, his mask hiding the smile at whatever brave deed the hero did. Sasuke shook his head, knowing Naruto was so simple-minded. Good thing he had an actual Uchiha to keep him alive in the forest, even if it was mainly for the eye's sake. Listen up, maggots. You No wait, 29 squads are the less than pathetic lot that somehow survived. I'm willing to bet that less than half of you make it out of my forest alive and intact. Anko said as the Genin's whispering grew anxious, her smile cocky and bloodthirsty. I want to go home, Chuji whispered a little too close to Anko. She casually whipped a kunai in his direction. Chuji whimpered as it grazed his cheek, more so when Anko appeared behind him and snickered. What's this, a little gaki who wants his mommy, she mocked. Everyone was silent as she gazed around. The many genin, with the exception of Team 7, were looking at her in a mix of awe and fear, as they should. Everyone except the members of Team 7, however. The trio leaned against the fence, each reading from the stupid books that Kakashi worshipped. While she admired their guts and audacity, they were ruining her image. Especially the blonde-haired one, and Silver, she realized. That was new. Now, Anko could make an example out of them here, but it was far past time to start and she could just laugh when they did not make it out of the forest in one. Oh, how much fun it would be setting them on the path of the wasp spiders and leeches. It wasn't like they would die anyways. After all, if Anko's yearly supply of poisons couldn't kill the Jinchuuriki during his checkups, nothing could. With Naruto at their gate, "Hey, Gaara." Naruto greeted him after seeing their gates were next to each other. He ran over and held up a fist to the still reading Jinchuuriki. Said Jinchuuriki blinked at the raised hand, his sand creeping up in defense. That is not a normal hand sign, Gaara noted. Naruto could only laugh at the strange words. Mama, it's not a hand sign. It's a fist bump. You hit it back. He raised it closer, and Gaara hesitantly lifted his sand to mimic. Naruto looked at the strange way to fist bump but let it go and hit the sand. Neither Jinchuuriki noticed the others looking on in shock. This high five accomplished nothing. Sure it did. We're friends now and you have some of my power or something. Oh, here. Naruto pulled out the small stack of books, passing them over to a now very interested Gaara. These are the rest of the series. I believe I say thank you in this situation. Gaara glanced over to Temari, who nodded shakily. She still wasn't quite comfortable with this new and improved Gaara. Ma, it's no problem. Hey, shrimp, what happened to your eye? Why is it covered? Kankuro blurted out. Naruto was about to bite out a response, but Sasuke was instantly dragging him away, hand covering his mask. He ended up waving at Gaara, who hesitantly returned it. Naruto Uzumaki. Temari sighed. For a masked genin, he was kind of cute, she had to admit. Hey sis. Yes, Kankuro? Temari did not appreciate her thought process being interrupted. Why are you blushing? A fan decapitating his puppet was Kankuro's answer. Meanwhile in the seal, Din Uzumaki's. Curse you to hell. Kurama roared. He banged his skull against his cage, hoping it would wake him up from this nightmare. Stupid Kurama. I should just eat your brat. That's it, I'm having Gaara spill your blood. The whiny, nasally voice of his little brother made Kurama wish they could actually die. Shikaku had joined the seal. This is payback, you know, Gyuki sniggered. Sad part is that he was right. This is what Kurama got for asking his Jinchuuriki to fist bump one person so he could rub it in his brother's face that his Jinchuuriki got knocked out by a naked body. Payback's like an Uchiha with a hangover, it seems. Forest of Death, later. We've been walking for hours, Sasuke. Naruto said, his voice much like a petulant child's. They had been on the path to the tower, avoiding a creature Naruto was certain came from hell, wasp spiders. The 8-legged, flying arachnids with stingers on them flew in packs and had decided they wanted Team 7 to be their next meal. Too bad for them that Naruto's eye was acting up again. No doubt the creatures would be on the endangered list by nightfall if the fire to their nest was any indication. Of course, Naruto had not been aware he was the one doing the spontaneous combustions. Shut up. We are reaching that tower by nightfall and that's that. Sasuke said. Naruto huffed at the clear dismissal. Then a thought occurred to him. Wait, but we don't have an earth scroll, Naruto said. Yeah, Naruto's right for once, Sakura agreed. I want to get this phase over quickly and finish up Ruraya's daring escape from the vile Petamaru. Naruto looked at Sakura, eyes alight with excitement. Oh, that part. I skipped ahead to that chapter, and I gotta say it was so yada. Especially when Ruraya, he was cut off by a murderous aura emanating from Sakura. You spoil the book and I spoil your life expectancy, she threatened. Sakura never liked spoilers, especially on such divine literature as Ika. Why yeah, of course Sakura. But you know spoilers aren't bad, believe it. They don't make you not read a story, right? Naruto, Sakura growled and raised her fist. Before it ended in bloodshed, Sasuke gave a famous Uchiha glare. Stop being so annoying. We will get to the tower soon, Sakura, and we can all read without spoilers. Eventually we can steal a scroll off a team. Naruto and Sakura gave sheepish agreements and the team began a quicker pace to the tower until a giant snake tail crashed into the trees, blocking their path. If you desire an earth scroll, Naruto-kun, I could give it to you, for a price. An ominous chuckle resounded around the now crushed forest. The head of the snake rose to tower over them, giving a hiss. Oh yeah? And what's the price, creepy snake? Naruto asked. Creepy snake? What? No, you imbecile. I am not a snake, I am. The ominous voice chuckled once more and a poof of smoke appeared on the snake. A male figure appeared with a smirk. I am the most powerful shinobi in this village. No, the world. Orochimaru. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura scrambled into a manju formation, their kunai at the ready. Sakura ripped Naruto's headband off, ignoring his protests. Sakura! Sasuke said. He glared at her. She glared back. Magic Eye seems to be our best bet here against a Sannin. If he loses it, I blame you. Sakura whipped her head back to Naruto. Naruto, you lose that magic eye and I will kill you. Painfully. Understand? It wasn't a question, so Naruto just nodded frantically. Oh, Sasuke-kun, you have much more to worry about than Naruto-kun's little Sharingan. Orochimaru said. A standstill began, both sides daring the other to move. The forest of death just became a lot more dangerous. If you desire an earth scroll, Naruto-kun, I could give it to you, for a price. An ominous chuckle resounded around the now crushed forest. The head of the snake rose to tower over them, giving a hiss. Oh yeah? And what's the price, creepy snake? Naruto asked. Creepy snake? What? No, you imbecile. I am not a snake, I am. The ominous voice chuckled once more and a poof of smoke appeared on the snake. A male figure appeared with a smirk. I am the most powerful shinobi in this village. No, the world. Orochimaru. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura scrambled into a manju formation, their kunai at the ready. Sakura ripped Naruto's headband off, ignoring his protests. Sakura! Sasuke said. He glared at her. She glared back. Magic Eye seems to be our best bet here against a Sannin. If he loses it, I blame you. Sakura whipped her head back to Naruto. Naruto, you lose that magic eye and I will kill you. Painfully. Understand? It wasn't a question, so Naruto just nodded frantically. Oh, Sasuke-kun, you have much more to worry about than Naruto-kun's little Sharingan. Orochimaru said. A standstill began, both sides daring the other to move. The forest of death just became a lot more dangerous. With Naruto, forest of death. Summoning jutsu. Naruto was quick to call out. 50 foxes, plus the protection squad Kuro assigned to him, and the puppies came out in a protective horde. He had the sense that letting this Orochimaru guy anywhere near him would be a terrible idea. No kidding, you tailless ingrate. Kurama, giving him advice at every turn. "Stop that snake man before he reaches us," Naruto said to the summons. He pointed at Orochimaru, and the entire horde began growling. "Oh dear Naruto-kun," Orochimaru said, "summoning those vermin before you even hear my offer? He doesn't want to hear from you, you freak," Sakura shouted. She looked ready to lob kunai at Orochimaru's head. Naruto thought about it. Maybe it would be a fair trade? After all, even traders that the great Jiraiya spat the name of couldn't be all bad if they loved ramen. Maybe Orochimaru loved ramen as much as Naruto? What do you want? And more importantly, how much do you love the great ramen-sama? Naruto decided to ignore Sasuke and Sakura's face palming while they maintained their formation. They were uninitiated and couldn't appreciate the divine nature that was ramen. Unfortunately, the question seemed to confuse Orochimaru. "Ramen-sama?" The snake Sannin looked puzzled. "I have absolutely no idea who that is, but I find ramen disgusting and one of the worst foods on this planet, so it is doubtful they would impress me." What? Never had anyone betrayed Naruto Uzumaki to this degree. Forget murdering children, even Kakashi-sensei did that in war. Forget charges of experiments and betraying the village. Nothing mattered more than the snake's treachery to ramen. "Anyway, in exchange for this scroll, you must let me mark you and give you ultimate power." Orochimaru ignored the bloodlust levels rising. Sounds like a scam," Sasuke said and rolled his eyes. "For real? A shady guy, with terrible employment records too, offering you free power after marking you? Please, not even Naruto would fall for that." Sakura inched away as her teammates' crazy chakra spilled over. "Shady? I will have you know I was a legally employed shinobi and run my very own village. Just because I resigned from my Konoha shinobi status, I am not shady." Orochimaru took the opportunity of the summons, snorting at his claim to unleash his snake at them. When the snake flinched before following the order, Orochimaru ignored it. However, the fox vermin tore it to pieces like the snake summons were made of confetti ribbon. 3 more house-sized snakes met the same fate. What? Impossible! Such weak summons should stand no match for my snakeus. Orochimaru seethed. That's what happens to anybody who hates the ramen, believe it. Dark tendrils of Kurama's chakra swirled around him like tails. Sakura and Sasuke backed away further, knowing that they were about to witness the death of a Sannin. Nobody dissed Naruto's favorite food. The last time someone did with the same venom as Orochimaru, Naruto was 6 and the academy had to hire counselors for the one who did it. How much more dangerous would a Naruto with a magic freaking eye be? Team 7 had no intentions of finding out. They would assist their comrade. Just they would do it from over 100 meters away. Reality began breaking again, just like in the first exam, once Sakura and Sasuke were at a safe distance. The trees around them burst on fire, as did the air, and somehow a corporal spirit in the shape of a samurai appeared behind Naruto's swishing chakra tails. Naruto wasn't so sure why the world was bursting into flames again, but it was helping as every time Orochimaru shot his neck out towards him, flames would set his hair or clothes on fire. Really, it was awesome, and Naruto would enjoy embellishing the tale for years to come. After he killed the monster, of course. Twin tendrils of Kurama's chakra were flowing and Naruto felt invincible. Dodging an upchucked sword from Orochimaru, he decided it was time for his favorite jutsu. "Kukukuku, Naruto-kun, you should give up while you still can. I can give you power beyond anything this village has seen." Orochimaru taunted. Foxes were dispelled left and right with deft kicks and punches by him. Naruto ignored him, figuring he would have the last laugh in mere moments. "Harem jutsu," he called. The forest floor filled with well-endowed ladies wearing nothing but smoke. He sniggered as the force of the jutsu hit Orochimaru. Seeing snake blood spill would make his day. The still summoned samurai loomed over the forest, not that Naruto bothered to notice. "You really are an imbecile," Kurama said, annoyed with the situation. While Kurama was excited by the thought of the seal weakening with this unexpected battle, the DMN Sharingan would make it impossible for him to stay escaped. Those Susanoo beings were able to deal too much damage for Kurama's liking. Not to mention his thrice med fan club knew where he was. No, best to watch for now and hope the Orochimaru shrimp killed a few more foxes. Shut up, Kurama. This will work, just watch. Naruto shot back. Orochimaru was not in a puddle of blood twitching like any pervert. In fact, he appeared bored at the clones hanging off his arms and pressing against him. Naruto's jaw dropped. What? How is that possible? Not even Kakashi-sensei can withstand the harem jutsu. Orochimaru said with a snake-like grin. I hate to disappoint you, Naruto-kun, but I am above such petty mortal vices. You will not defeat me, though I have no doubt that moron Jiraiya fell for it. Naruto could not believe this was happening. Now, I believe these foxes are more of a nuisance than they're worth. Orochimaru lunged through the still impressive amount of summons, dispelling them in waves each time Naruto summoned more. Once Orochimaru reached him, they began a fierce taijutsu battle accented by combustible air or a still-growing samurai figure swinging a sword. My, how peculiar. This being you summoned from the eye is formidable, if not bulky. I look forward to wielding it. Orochimaru hissed as he speared his first through Naruto's gut. The snake Sannin really just wanted to seal away the Kyuubi chakra, but that could interfere with the mark. And now every time Orochimaru came close to giving his next vessel the mark, the samurai creature would try to decapitate him, or a burst of flame would singe his hair. Electromagnetic murder. Naruto gripped Orochimaru's face, his victorious grin turning sour when it turned to mud. I wasn't really wanting to hit him that time, he said petulantly. Naruto, kick his butt with the magic eye. Sakura called from the top of a tree. She and Sasuke had been watching in morbid fascination at the legendary Orochimaru being defeated by their hyperactive teammate. Sasuke lazily lobbed a barrage of kunai at the snake Sannin, again melted into mud. It was becoming apparent that Orochimaru was pretty set in his ways in regard to dealing with hits. How? He shouted, being kicked into the samurai being behind him. His chakra tail sank back inside him, but his whiskers grew darker. Just glare at him, she said, and maybe ask that ghost to do something. Naruto nodded to himself at what Sakura was saying. The magic eye was apparently responsible for the awesome samurai and the flames. He could make this work, especially if he could get more chakra. The Kyuubi's chakra made him feel powerful, invincible even. Whatever you do not let him bite you, pest, Kurama said. I got it, furball. Naruto snapped back, trying to yank more chakra out. Kurama roared at his idiot container. You have the cursed eye, you don't need my chakra. He growled. Hey, my seal, you owe me rent. Not with that ungrateful attitude. Now leave. You let that snake win, and I drag you down to hell with me. With that, Naruto was pushed out of his head. Samurai thing? Naruto asked. He had to win. Kakashi-sensei would be very angry if he wasn't able to pass the second exam, even with a crazy guy wanting to bite him. Kakashi-sensei always said to expect the unexpected and be able to destroy all enemies or something equally as deep. The transparent creature didn't react to Naruto's voice. Mind, killing that creep over there? In a cool way, of course. Oh, you don't even know what that creature is, do you, Naruto-kun? Oh, when I have your body, I will not waste such power, Kukoku. Orochimaru said and tried to get close with his fangs. That is disgusting, believe it? Naruto deadpanned. If the situation was not so dire, he would be proud of how cool he just sounded. You are worse than the villain, Petamar. Like Ruraya, I will stop you. What? Orochimaru looked confused. However, the meaning sunk in and his face contorted. No, you imbecilic monkey. I want your body to live in it, not to do that. Sounds like something a Pefli would say. Sasuke joined in, landing next to him. Naruto, do not let him take the eye. Uchiha refused to let pedophiles near them. Yeah, you let him win and I can't pass this exam and get off our hellhole of a team. Now, get this thing to work, it came from the eye after all. Sakura landed on the other side of him and gave Naruto a helpful slap on the back. Naruto gulped and looked behind him. Destroy him, samurai thing that came from my eye, he said. This time, the being moved until it was over Team 7, and unleashed dozens of glowing green spikes. The summons left dodged, but it cleaved Orochimaru in two from the waist. Team 7 started to celebrate their victory, until the corpse opened its mouth, revealing a new and younger-looking Orochimaru. "I vote for a hasty retreat," Sakura said. Sasuke gave a chen of approval. "Kuro!" Naruto called. Kuro appeared by his side with several other foxes. "We have to get out of here. A creepy snake wants my body." The foxes all made gagging noises but nodded. "Do not worry, we will protect the great Kurama-sama. Grab on, vessel and underlings." Kuro held out a tail and Team 7 grabbed on, still, said the samurai. And with a poof they were across the forest, just mere meters from the tower. At the tower. Once they stopped moving, Sakura instantly slammed the headband over Naruto's eye, cutting off the Sharingan, and their giant samurai disappeared. "Never doing that again," Sakura said and dropped to the ground. "We still need a scroll." In a minute, Sakura-chan. Naruto dropped too. "Kuro-sama," Kuro cut him off. Naruto rolled his eye but relented. "Fine, Kuro-sama, why didn't you get us out of there earlier? I didn't know you could teleport us to safety." Kuro looked at him, bored. "You never asked. The Kurama Protection Squad is able to do things beyond your mere human comprehension." "Chen. More like you forgot you could do it," Sasuke grunted. Naruto and Sakura snickered and nodded. Kuro looked offended and poofed out before anyone could notice his ears getting hot, the other foxes following. "So, how do we get a scroll?" Sakura asked. "We do what Kakashi-sensei would do, Yada," Naruto said excitedly. No, we do not do it like sensei," Sakura retorted. She didn't want to think about having Sasuke, or God forbid, Naruto, seducing a kunoichi into giving them a scroll or blowing up the forest into oblivion and scavenging the bodies for the scroll. "You're no fun, Sakura-chan." "Naruto, how did you summon a Susanoo?" Sasuke butted in before the argument could continue. "A Susa what now?" Naruto asked. Sasuke breathed out, asking for the patience to not strangle his teammate. It wasn't the idiot's fault for being a idiot. A Susanoo, one of the Sharingan's most powerful abilities, the corporeal samurai you had. I remember my family, the clan talking about it, Chen. "Oh, no idea," Naruto admitted. "He was really helpful though. Now, ramen before scroll, Yada." He rubbed his hands together greedily, raising his headband enough to set the ground on fire for ramen. Sakura stamped it out. "Not now, you idiot. We have to get a scroll. Stuff your stomach after we're in the tower." "But, Sakura-chan, there aren't any teams here to get a scroll." Before they could continue, a familiar team of sand genin came out of the forest on a disk of sand about 100 feet away. "Gaara!" Naruto called, already running over. Sakura and Sasuke face-bombed and followed with kunai. Gaara, reading the next Aika book, looked up, before tentatively waving. "Naruto," he said when Team 7 got close. Kankuro looked up from cleaning his puppet, and Temari blushed at them. "Gaara, did you get your scrolls?" Naruto asked. Gaara nodded. "We did. Too many, Temari says." Temari sighed and held up over a dozen scrolls. Gaara killed any non-Konoha teams. She looked a bit green. "Wow, thanks Gaara," Naruto said and gave an eye smile. "Naruto," Sakura whispered, yanking his ear. "If he killed all those teams, how are we supposed to get a scroll? Kakashi-sensei said no killing or severely hurting Konoha teams. You do not have both scrolls?" Gaara asked, tilting his head. "Nope, this guy named Orochimaru tried to steal my body before we could," Naruto shrugged. "We're trying to grab another from a team." Gaara's and surprisingly Temari's face hardened. "You may have these," he said. "Uchihas do not take charity." Sasuke was cut off by Sakura giving him a look. A look that meant, "We are this close to getting off this team. Accept or I will murder you, pretty boy or not." Sasuke wanted to glare, but it made sense. Let Naruto's universe-breaking luck get them past this exam. After all, he had let the blonde and white-haired idiot handle Orochimaru so he could observe and copy the taijutsu of the Sannin and stay out of the random fire bursts. Besides, Sasuke could use the time they had left in the exam to research doctors who would remove the Sharingan from Naruto. The world would be safer without such an idiot holding its most powerful dojutsu. Are you sure, Gaara? Naruto asked. Gaara dropped every scroll into his hands. That is what friends do, help each other, right? Yada. This is so great, thanks Gaara. Naruto raised his hand for a fist bump and Gaara gave it readily this time. There, now you got it. Now can we please get to the tower? I need a shower and a good reading lamp, Sakura muttered. Oh yeah. Hey Gaara, what do you think about spoilers? Sakura-chan hates them and I don't know why. Naruto spoke as the two teams headed towards the tower. None of them noticed the snake hissing from the trees, seething at the missed opportunity for a Sharingan body. He would have to look for another opportunity. Perhaps it was time to get Kabuto's help in capturing either Sasuke or Naruto. After Orochimaru found a way to stop those pesky flames and the Kyuubi's vicious chakra, of course. Now can we please get to the tower? I need a shower and a good reading lamp, Sakura muttered. Oh yeah. Hey Gaara, what do you think about spoilers? Sakura-chan hates them and I don't know why. Naruto spoke as the two teams headed towards the tower. None of them noticed the snake hissing from the trees, seething at the missed opportunity for a Sharingan body. He would have to look for another opportunity. Perhaps it was time to get Kabuto's help in capturing either Sasuke or Naruto. After Orochimaru found a way to stop those pesky flames and the Kyuubi's vicious chakra, of course. 5 days later, seeing as there are only 4 teams who made it out of the forest intact, we will have no preliminaries, Sarutobi said to the gathered genin. After Naruto had burst into the tower shouting about his old student wanting to take his body, Enbyu had scoured the forest. Unfortunately, the only sign of Orochimaru left behind were snakes feasting on various genin teams. Seeing as the snakes strangely only went after Konoha teams suspected of treasonous tendencies and sound members, Sarutobi made the executive decision to let them go about their business. You have each walked the difficult path towards greatness, Sarutobi continued. He glared at Kakashi's genin team and the Suna team, dear lord they're multiplying, each buried in the book he'd like to be reading himself. As Hokage he had to put aside his wants for the sake of propriety. Why couldn't those brats do the same? Must they torment him so? Naruto zoned out while the Hokage blathered on and on about hard work and making their villages proud in the finals, and his book was just a front for him fantasizing. So they had a month to prepare, so what? He was too cool to not win at all, and then he'd be even closer to his ultimate goal, becoming Ramenkage. It had been on his mind, his goal of being Hokage. Why rule a village when you can rule the divine food group? Visions filled his head of issuing laws for ramen flavors and containers and ordering the executions for ramen deniers. Namely that fish guy and Petamar. The fact that there was no such thing as a ramen food group, not to mention a Ramenkage, was of little consequence to Naruto. Kurama, who was the unfortunate victim to Naruto's every thought, was convinced the Sharingan finally did the killing blow to the brat's relationship with reality. And now, go forth and stoke your will of fire, the Hokage said. Naruto blinked at the dismissal and figured it was past time to grab the food of the gods. He was already drooling behind his mask. Too bad for the blonde, Kakashi had Operation Stage 4 to implement. Oh Naruto, my adorable little apprentice-to-be, Kakashi sang from behind, it's time to fully indoctrinate you finish your transformation. Naruto gulped. Ma, he said, trying to win points, I have the road of life to get lost on? Kakashi beamed in pride, but still had a strange glint to his eye. I'm sure you do, but first, Chidori. Asuma, Kurenai, and Guy, who were congratulating their teams nearby, blanched at that rather frightening plan. They of course knew that Naruto had already mastered, or rumored to have, according to Anko, the Sharingan. What more could the menace need? Nay, Kakashi? Asuma asked. He figured he'd try to distract his colleague from the inevitable. What about your other students? The other sensei were impressed with Asuma's quick thinking. Kakashi would be too busy giving each of his students proper instruction to make an overpowered genin into an unstoppable killing machine. Well, until after the exams, when they do everything in their power to keep him away from their precious students. Even Guy seemed a tad nervous of Kakashi's plan. They did not factor in a key obstacle, however, the rest of Team 7. Sakura and Sasuke, still reading, held out their hands, where several storage scrolls appeared. "Pleasure doing business with you, sensei. See you in a month and good luck with the idiot," Sakura said and poofed away. Why were genin able to shun Shin, was the collective thought of all observers, except Sarutobi, who had money on the brain. He was looking forward to raking in millions if Team 7 kept being this flashy. Sasuke grunted and pocketed his packet. "Protect the eye or you die, Naruto. The eye surgeon I ordered will arrive after the exams." Naruto grinned at his teammate, ignoring the sudden killing intent from Kakashi. "Does he have a blue eye for me?" Sasuke nodded. "A perfect match. It's imported from IWA. Yada. See you in a month, team." Kakashi and surprisingly Sarutobi had plans to make sure that Surgeon never arrived. One was because a Jinchuuriki with a Sharingan was extremely profitable mission-wise, and the other was from delusions of creating a perfect apprentice. Tenzo, hidden behind his leader's throne, shuddered at the awful sense that Kakashi, I love spitting on Sanity's face and cackling in front of a sobbing common sense, Hatake and the freaking god of shinobi were in complete sync on something. It was not a pleasant realization that Danzo might have been the less stressful option for the Mokuton user to have pledged loyalty to. Curse his younger self for believing in Kakashi. Later, with Kakashi and Naruto, Kakashi dumped his apprentice to be on the ground, absently flicking a stray lighting bolt away from him. The air was what any lighting aficionado would call delicious, but he would contain his desire to go wild with the natural version of his true love. Naruto, why are you trying to take my hopes and dreams away from me when I am so close to reaching them? Naruto gulped. You're what? Run, you fleabag-ridden midget, Kurama suggested. The Bijou would be dead more than he already was before he let his vessel become even more like an Uchiha. Kakashi must have sensed the warning. He lifted Naruto back of his shirt and tore the headband off. An ice smile brimming with sadistic glee was etched into the Sharingan forever. Generations of Uchiha DNA seemed to scream run. I'm teaching you the most badass and hip assassination jutsu in the world, my adorable little apprentice. You mean, the first through the heart with lighting jutsu? Naruto asked. His eyes sparkled when Kakashi nodded, and Susanoo bloomed from nowhere. Kakashi felt his confidence returning. Surely after seeing how much better he was with the Sharingan, he'd turned down the measly IW cast-off? Who would want an eye from IWA of all places? They were insane, everyone knew that. The eye probably carried the disease with it. The best shinobi were unhinged, yes, but they were Konoha unhinged, not the pathetic IWA version. Never mind the fact that Konoha shinobi could not verbalize the difference when asked. They just knew they were different than IW, and that was that. That's right. Now first lesson, how to take all the lightning in this here canyon and roll it into a ball. By the end of the month, Naruto would not only have mastered Chidori, but also learn how to use lighting in the most enjoyable way possible, a throwable cannonball of pure chaos. The Hokage would be pleased, he was certain. With Irika-san. Irika ignored the pest and focused on grading papers, or tried to. He was just so proud of his former students, making it to the third round. Pretty soon he'd be handing them their Chunin flak jackets, and then congratulating them on their first Jonin sensei assignments. Irika-san, please, it's important. Is this what fatherhood felt like? Naruto had supposedly helped defeat Orochimaru. While Irika made sure to add the traitor to his little black book, next to Kakashi and now erased Danzo, he just couldn't stop the grin when he heard the news. Irika-san. Deer had a pen embedded in the wall by his ear before the word finished leaving his mouth. He gulped when his longtime friend glared at him. The ENBU medic regretted all choices that led up to being the sucker that would let the legendary academy teacher know about the Orange Menace's condition. Perhaps he shouldn't have defended Irika being a nice and easygoing man during the cleanup of Danzo's room. Deer was always too optimistic, according to his old sensei. What? What? Oh, sorry, dear-sen. Didn't see you there, I thought you were someone else. Irika rubbed the back of his head, embarrassed. Who the f do I need to avoid until the cosmos ends? Deer wondered, then decided against trying to fathom it out. Irika's black book was thick, to say the least. And it was volume 6. Trying to pinpoint the unlucky BSTRD responsible was not worth the hassle. Yes so. He trailed off, trying to gather courage. He was imbued, damn it. He could tell his long-time nightmare this crucial information. Dear, is everything okay? It's not Naruto, is it? All semblance of politeness was gone, not even an honorific from the king of proper respect. Well, not exactly, but yes. You see, well, Kakashi-senpai drugged him and performed a sadistic surgery on him. He said it. It wasn't completely true. He'd been thinking about getting his own Sharingan for surgeries himself, now that they had a nice supply. It was definitely not false either. Irika didn't explode or kill Deer on that revelation. He kind of wished the Chunin did in all honesty, as what actually happened was far worse. Irika took out his black book. He grabbed a red pen from his desk. He turned to Kakashi's name and very methodically crossed it out a dozen times. And then he chuckled. Hokage's office. What is the plan then, sensei? Jiraiya and Hiruzen Sarutobi were longtime student and teacher and were generally in agreement on how to handle various village inconveniences. It had led to many peaceful years for Konoha, and would likely lead to many more to come. But sometimes they would lock horns on some minor detail like which daimyo to frame for the murder of another, or if the Uchiha really needed to be murdered by Itachi instead of a less likable scapegoat. They always resolved it one way or another. Never had they had two crucial arguments at once, however. I am afraid there is nothing to do, Jiraiya. The Akatsuki will come after the exams like our source says. We will handle it then. And Orochimaru? His old teammate was now known to be the mastermind behind the suspected Suna aggression. Sarutobi gave that grandfatherly smile that made Jiraiya want to hide under a mountain and pray he could stay out of whatever the F was going to happen. Oh, him? An invasion always stokes the flames, and blood is the best fertilizer for trees. But we could stop him now. Sensei, think of the repair costs. A serene look took over. Do not worry about our budget. Naruto will bring 10 times that in. Jiraiya's sweat dropped. At least he had more reason to train his godson. Money not channeled through rigging Tsunade's games and threatening the people legally stole her fortune into signing it over to Konoha? Always a win, in the Toad Sage's mind. How was the assassination of the eye surgeon, if I may ask? Jiraiya scoffed at the sudden left turn. That? Dead and gone. Thank you, Jiraiya. I am not sure what I'd do without you. And that made his heart swell. His sensei needed him. Out of all of his teammates, he was the least screwed up. Probably have to send your secretaries out to take care of your last-minute cleanups. Yes, and I do need them for their unique skills in the paper arts. He decided not to touch that with a 10-meter pole. So, want to hear the latest about my new book? The next hour was very productive, if one considered Ika a worthy topic for 2 S ranks. Back with Naruto. Wait, was the echoing cries through the canyons, followed by enough lightning to make a whimper. Kakashi beamed in pride at his apprentice, because Naruto still being a genin was just a way to bring the budget up at this point, who was proving the laws of nature were like all laws. That is, suggestions, not orders, upheld only by ethics that no self-respecting shinobi had. Unless you were a weakling like Irika. Kakashi took a moment to mentally spit at his rival. Naruto knew who the best sensei was, and it wasn't a monster who thought hospitals were good. While Kakashi muddled through plans to continue his mini-me plot, Naruto was having a blast. Kurama? Well, at least he was used to it. Sort of. Not at all. He really loathed his existence. And humanity. And lightning. I will outlaw the use of lightning when I raise the flesh bags to the ground, once and for all. His supposed siblings simply cut the connection off, knowing that as bad as they had it with their Jinchuuriki, they didn't have to have an Uzumaki. Shikaku almost felt bad for his older brother. But then Gaara began reading the next chapter in Ika, and all thoughts outside of the story vanished. Shikaku created a sand chair for himself, following along with Ruraya on his eternal quest to save Mtsunade. Finally, at the academy, Kurama-sama, we thank you for your bountiful favor. The girls of the academy intoned. Kurama-sama, we thank you for your bountiful favor. The boys chanted back. They were not sure why exactly they had to do this, but it beat study PRD. Oh Kurama-sama, our lives are thanks to you. Oh Kurama-sama, our lives are thanks to you. When our hearts feel your claws impaling us, when your teeth bite our heads off, we know it's because we have truly earned your blessings. When our hearts feel your claws impaling us, when your teeth bite our heads off, we know it's because we have truly earned your blessings. Kuro peeped in, his worshipper senses tingling, and was in awe of what he saw. His little converts, already bringing in new blood. Oh, how Kurama-sama would be proud, said Giant Fox, in the midst of praying for death as the metaphorical cage around him shuddered with each lightning strike his container took willingly, got the disturbing feeling he made a grave mistake saving those fox kits eons ago. More than usual, that is.